Hello everyone, welcome to No Clipping Through the Net. My name is Shocho. I'm joined here by Arthur, or better
Oku.
known as Oku Drip. Um, we are back after a long hiatus of life and just general,
Been doing shit.
yeah, shit.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we've been doing some stuff, but we've been scouring the lands of the internet to find a few topics that we think that could be meshed into
Hmm.
an episode and stuff because there's not really, I mean, in our case, there's not really some stuff that's been going on that's sorry, there's not really a lot been happening that's kind of been making us we just do it right now and do it
Yeah,
right now
yeah.
because
Not like with the
it's
first couple where we were
no
just like
yeah
jazzed to go.
yeah
But
because yeah
yeah, I mean down here, let me get my finger in the right place. Down here we've got album of the year, game of the year, two things we're going to discuss and kind of give our personal winners. Then we're going to talk about Shang-Chi because Harry's seen that now. Shocho's seen Shang-Chi, and then there's the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which just came out. We're also going to talk about this kind of new wave of like Smash Bros esque games, like Nick All Star Brawl and what's it called, MultiVersus, but that wouldn't fit in the bar at the bottom, so you'll just have to pretend that that one's got a picture. Uh,
just yeah if you guys could actually edit the entire thing for us too, that'd be great, like honestly.
if anyone wants an editing job, you won't get
Yeah,
paid, but
no, no. In fact you have to pay us to edit our stuff.
yeah, we really need the money.
Yeah. Oh dear. Right. So should we jump into it?
Yeah, which award do you want to kick us off with?
I think we should go with the goatee.
Okay, take it away, my man.
The goatee. So I haven't really bought a lot of 2021 releases this year, and I think that's kind of goes for I don't know, probably both of us. I think because
Yeah.
it's been like it's been a weird year for games. It's kind of been like okay, we have like the regular big name games that are coming out and stuff, but here and there there's been some really good ones.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give the cake to and this was a bit of a weird choice for me, but I'm going to give the cake to Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury.
Ooh, I wondered whether you
Um,
might pick that.
yeah, because I mean, okay, technically 3D World is a remaster or a port, I guess, in some cases. Well, in most cases, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I'm more in the case of Bowser's Fury because I really enjoyed it. I just absolutely loved it. It's using the same engine as Odyssey, but kind of tuned down a little bit.
Hmm.
So you still have some of the same jumps and stuff, except you don't have Cappy this time around. If you try and throw something, you'll just throw yourself off the edge of a thing and die, and probably throw your Pro Controller against the wall.
Can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. But the music, the like, the joy, the whole like cat stuff that is just like we're doing this now. Cool,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot
sure,
of
yeah,
like, there's a big bell as well, isn't there? Like
yeah,
a big
yeah.
bell in the middle and stuff.
Um, if you haven't already, I mean, if you're a fan of Mario stuff, if you've played it before and you've always had a good time, um, and you want to try it, I definitely recommend it because it's literally a two for one deal. You have 3D World, which will like I'm trying to 100% this because I'm trying to get as much as my money as possible worth. Sorry, I'm wording this really weirdly, but I'm trying to like
Yeah.
get what I'm really embrace what I've paid for.
Yeah.
Um, like it's gonna take you ages, and it's taken me ages. Definitely, it's taken a lot of my patience. But like in the grand scheme of things, like the game is fun. The collectibles are like really like some of them are hard to find, some of them are easy to find. So there's a nice balance of it. The world, like the world design of 3D World, is amazing. Like this,
Hmm.
like um, it's not just like okay, here is. I mean, that's always been the case with Mario. They've never been lazy with world design. They've always been, they like the different colors and stuff. So,
That's true.
yeah, there's never any kind of thing where it blends around. It's just like it's all really cool. It's a really interesting take on kind of like um, the map style from like the original Mario games. Like
Oh,
from
that's cool.
Like Mario 3, where you kind
Well,
of
like
walk
where
around the
you
board.
go around
Yeah,
the thing. Okay.
yeah. And yeah, it's just really fun. And then Bowser's Fury, just still great music, a great time, a really fun story, a really weird two-player thing. But I think it's more kind of like a, if you've
Yeah,
got your
with
little
Bowser
brother with
Jr.,
you,
right?
Yeah, because Bowser Jr. doesn't really do much, but oh well,
He's
you know.
there. Okay, I'm going to
He,
ask you
he's there then.
because
Yeah,
just because
go
you
on.
brought up just because you brought up the collectibles thing, would you say it's as trying on your patience as like Arkham Knight kind of Riddler collectibles, or
Oh
is
god,
it
okay.
like a lot easier than that? Just to gauge it, because I haven't played it yet.
Okay, so um, I mean, okay, yes, they're different games, but like collectibles are still collectibles at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
Um, so the issue with Arkham Knight was that okay, I'll try not to turn this into we rant about Arkham Knight,
yeah.
but the issue with that was because there were so many, and because I think the most annoying part of it was that you get the actual spoiler alert, but you get the actual cutscene for what happens to Batman at the end of it, and it's
Yeah,
like that's not really cool. You guys weren't like this before, whatever. Um,
yeah. You have to go
I
through
think
so much digging around in little holes just to
yeah,
get the cool ending of the game. It's
yeah, yeah,
frustrating.
exactly. And then with 3D World and Bowser's Fury, it's just kind of like no, it's just there and it's fun. If you want to get it, you have to get it. I really doubt it affects any kind of. That's how they do it, Nintendo. They never like oh, if you get all these things, you get the magic cutscene and the whole game turns into the Zelda CDI games, and it's just like, well,
Oh no.
excuse me, princess. But
Nightmare fuel.
I mean, I find it like it's like I think a better comparison would be made with Breath of the Wild, where after getting all 900 Koroks, you don't get a magic cutscene. You find out that all these little Korok things you've been getting are actual poop.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's poop? Hestu's?
Yeah, well, it's actually the little Koroks because actually scaring them when you find their hiding places.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then Hestu's gift is just like this really weird looking turd thing, and you're like, wow, I've just spent a solid 40 hours collecting 900 bits of poop. Um, but yeah, I like if you wanna again, it's your money. You can spend it however you want and play as much of the game as you want. And do as like it's just kind of like for my satisfaction, and I guess for a lot of other players' satisfaction, is just to have okay ticked off.
Hmm.
Don't ever have to worry about it again, or it's just a fun thing to do. If like that's how it works really well is because it's a pretty laid back game to play.
Yeah.
If you just know where you're going for it,
There's
go for it.
something very charming about Mario games, like,
Yeah,
uh, which I got from playing Odyssey. It's like just sinking into a very soothing kind of
yeah,
colorful atmosphere with nice music.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I think honestly, if we were doing this back in 2017. I would be like speaking the praises about Odyssey because that game
amazing
was
game,
yeah one of my
incredible.
favorite games. Uh, amazing. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, on to you, mate. I will let you have the
Okay.
limelight.
So where did I write my game of the year stuff? Right. So, for me, I was looking through the list this morning when I was doing my Game of the Year research to figure out what I was going to give it to, and I picked out two games that I've played this year that actually came out this year, and only one of them is like an original game, which was Pokemon Unite. And I'm not going to give Game of the Year to Pokemon Unite. As much fun as I have had playing it, it does not deserve Game of the Year. The other game that came out this year was Skyward Sword HD, which is great, but that already had the old original game on the Wii in like 2012 or something. So I decided to give it to a game that came out last year instead, because I found two games worthy of that, which was Hades and Ghost of Tsushima. Both of them came out last year. We both love both of those games. And ultimately, I went for Hades because I think that's the game I've played the most this year. If you don't count like, no, probably is the one I have the most hours in, and it's just beautiful. It's fucking gorgeous, like visually. And I have never played a roguelike before. The whole like you wake up, you go through the run, you die, you go back to the start, you go through. So this formula was like really like revolutionary to me because I've never played a game like that before. Um, which is
I'm
just
surprised.
it blew
Sorry,
my
go on.
mind. No,
Yeah,
so yeah,
I'm surprised at that because there's like I mean roguelikes are pretty big nowadays because like I mean Binding of Isaac the new update's just come out for that last this
hmm
month actually.
I've heard good things
Um,
about that.
yeah, I think it's 4 player now, which is
Mm,
weird.
okay.
Um, I've played a lot of Enter the Gungeon, and I absolutely love that because it's cute and the dog you can pet it and stuff. But I kind of saw I kind of thought, okay, it might not be a game this year for either of us, but I know how much you love Hades. I know how much
Yes.
I've seen you play it, and I've played it as well, and it's a gorgeous game. It's only gorgeous because of Aphrodite, no one else. But um, but yeah, sorry, go on. I
I
didn't want to
mean, no, no,
on there.
that's I appreciate the input. Um, it's funny you bring up Aphrodite because I was just about to talk about all the gods as well. They're all they're all very much the same in the fact that they don't really know what Zagreus is up to. They kind of have most of the gist. I'm not going to spoil any details or anything, but they're so aloof and they just kind of descend very briefly to give you your boon and go, young Zagreus, how are you doing? Well, blah blah blah, whatever. Can't wait to feast with you up here. Little do they know that you're getting dragged back to the surface every time, or sorry, back to the house every time you die, and having to battle through all these horrible little monsters while they're just kind of swanning about up in Olympus. And I love it.
I just want to say that when you were like, oh, we're not really sure what this kid's up to. It's like when you're at a family party, like a gathering. There's like a kid running around. It's like, what are you up to? And you're just like, oh, you're just a cute kid. They're just having fun, and the house is on fucking fire. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's the vibe. It's
Kid
just like a
runs
little
past, you're
goblin.
like, oh, what are you kids up to? And he's like, I'm fighting a demon, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then turns out 10 minutes later he actually was, and there's a
Yeah,
horrible monster just
just
tipping over
from
the
the skies.
gazebos.
Yeah, and you just
Yeah.
I can't take this kid anywhere.
Oh, we're so off topic.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
What else do I love about the game? I'm bringing it up on Steam so I can look at how many hours I have in it. Okay, so I have 121.7 hours in Hades. Most of that was spent late evening, just kind of packing in run after run after run, trying to get to the end. And you really get invested after a few runs because the acting is pretty good. The way that Zagreus and Hades talk to each other gets you fired up and actually makes you want to break out because you're like, this guy's a dick. I don't want to be living with him anymore. And so you do the runs, and then each time you come back and he says something snarky, you get more fired up and you want to go forward again. And the whole time you're doing it, going back and forth across the runs where you have your weapons and you fight all these monsters, every time you come back to the house, there's new interactions to be had with Dusa or Meg or Achilles or whoever else is around the house who you're kind of forging storylines with as you go through. Also, the combat's really fun. It's just you pick the weapon that you like the most, and it has the playstyle that you like the most, and then you go through and you practice with it, and you get so fucking good at it that you could get through rooms in 12 seconds flat, and it's a good feeling. It's one of those games that actually makes you feel cool to play. I know that's IGN's favorite phrase. This game actually makes you feel like Zagreus, but I don't know. It's true. It's true, and it's really cool.
I was wanting to say I think it does a really good job of you where I'm going where I'm coming from this is you saying that we get fired up by Hades' snarky comments to Zagreus. Not a lot of games give you a reason to care about conflict with characters. Same with films, same with books, same with whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but because they've balanced everything so well with this roguelike as well, the combat, amazing. The lore, they've done that in a really good way as well. I think where you kind of have to keep interacting with characters every run to find out more about them. That I really liked because it was oh, there's a question mark there, and they put it right in the middle. It's what is that bit? What is that bit?
Yeah.
Let me find it out. And they have all this balance. They've put all this balance into this game, and it's a really well designed game that that really makes you care about the characters. That really makes you want to keep doing a run again. That really and Zagreus is so softly spoken, and it's just kind of pretty sexy in a way. But
Yes, his voice actor is incredible.
yeah, it's just how How do we sound that sexy?
I
Like,
know, it's
help.
amazing. And
Um,
this guy, I can't remember his last name, but it's Darren something, right?
mm.
Something like that. He is not only the voice of Zagreus, but he actually made the soundtrack for the game, and he's the singing voice for another character in the game. He does all these three things, and he does every one of them so fantastically well. He's a genius, and he named the genre of the soundtrack something like. You know what? I'm going to look it up actually. Take the
No,
floor for a second
the,
while I just.
the, yeah, sorry, yeah. Arthur's doing some hard hacking, so if you just, I think just crashes, so we're like, we have to start this entire podcast again. Um,
God, let's hope not.
that'd be funny.
I don't think my heart
Um,
could take that.
yeah, the music is good as well. I mean, that's always my case with stuff like this. The music is very, very good,
You're a big
and
music guy.
yeah, and like there's some like focus on bass too, which I love. I love the bass.
hmm
Um,
Darren Korb, that's his name. And
Aaron
he
Cool.
named the genre Mediterranean Prog Rock Halloween, which is glorious. And it fits. When you listen to it, you're like, this is Mediterranean Prog Rock Halloween. Oh, he's so good.
Like I can imagine like you go to like a during like a concert and someone's like, "Oh, what kind of music you listen to?" Like, what? I think I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it.
Oh yeah, I
And
like
they're like, "Oh, they're like, oh yeah, what this
Mediterranean
guy's
Prog Rock
on
Halloween,
it?"
yeah.
Like you say, they're like, "What?"
Mediterranean Prog. Oh, never mind. You wouldn't get it anyway.
Like, hey, what are you doing? Like, why are you walking away from me? Um, but yeah, yeah, I heavily agree with that choice for a game of the year.
Yeah.
And I know you spent a lot of time with it, and um, I spent a lot of time with it because it was your fault actually that I started playing that game.
hmm
Um, and I need to play it again because no reason concerning Aphrodite at all.
Yes.
Um,
Aphrodite.
just
You will
just
have a favorite god when you play this game, and it might well be either Dionysus or Aphrodite, depending on your taste, or both of them,
or both,
or both.
or maybe you're just a weirdo and you like the freaking guy that crosses the river Styx. Like,
Charon.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Arrgh.
You just doesn't say anything, but you're like, oh my god, that's really hot.
That's really hot.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, should we move
Yeah.
along?
Should we meander into album of the year,
Yeah.
our second and final award of the day?
Unless you've got anything else you want to say about Hades.
Not really. I think if I was going to say anything else, I don't really have much else written down other than it makes you want to keep going. You might think that having to leave the house every time you die and do the run again and go through Tartarus and Asphodel and these other sections of the route up to the surface, you might think that would get boring, fighting the same kinds of enemies and talking to the same characters, but it really doesn't. Everything just hooks you in, and it's so fun that you just want to keep going. That's how I can just spend hours and hours doing it, because the second I finish one run, I'm like, okay, I want to do another run, and I want to get these boons this time, and do it this way, and use this weapon, or whatever, and I want to talk to these people.
I think for a first roguelike, it's a very, very good like start. Like if you haven't ever played a roguelike game before, I recommend that.
hmm
Like I would say you'd have, if you like not just roguelike but also like Greek gods
hmm
and like
This game
uh,
made me want to read Percy Jackson again, so I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Oh yeah,
yeah,
and then I made Mallory read it as well, and then she thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was all because Hades made me like interested in Greek gods again.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
nice. Like that was a good gamer talk.
All right, so now let's get into album of the year. You want to go first again? You got yours ready?
I have mine ready. Yeah. Um. So I've known this generic white guy for quite a while. And it's been written in many scribes that we have the same kind
The
of brain.
exact same,
Yes, yeah.
yes, thought
Um,
processes.
and this is why we do this because we have a good time with it. And we spoke before this of like, oh yeah, what our album of the year might have been, And like I was trying to like be coy about it and like sneak around. Oh, maybe he's picked a different one, or maybe I'm just wrong and assuming stuff.
And I was
No,
saying to him at the same time, like, oh, wonder what his could be, and
but yeah. That being put aside,
it's the exact
um,
same.
it's the exact
It's the
same. Yeah,
same album.
we both have picked Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion as our album of the year.
Should have brought that up in the last segment.
I missed it.
Yeah, yeah. We both
Um,
have 3, 2, 1. Call Me If You Get
if you get lost,
Lost by
there we
Tyler the
go.
Creator. Yeah,
Oh,
which is a fantastic album.
yes.
And I'm gonna. You've had more time enjoying it, so I'm gonna let you take it away for
Yeah.
this first bit.
Well, I will meander into this. So this is Tyler's, I think, his
Seventh.
his seventh album release. Um, and I've been listening to this guy for like ever since like Igor kind of came out. Like I was like, yes, this is awesome. And I've gone back and listened to everything, and I have like I prefer like Flower Boy and quite a bit of Cherry Bomb as well, which is just awesome. But
Hmm.
Igor just takes the cake for me for like the entire thing. But
Yeah, yeah, same.
um, he was making this new thing, and he was saying that he wanted to rap a lot more, that he wanted to have something to say, a bit like us. But he like this album it's a great album. Like it's
Yeah.
a fantastic album. The style of it is amazing. This new character, Sir Baudelaire, but Sir Tyler Baudelaire is like, whoa, this is crazy. We've gone from Igor, who is like this kind of weirdo who's in love with
Weirdo's
someone.
pining away and
Yep.
kind of just
And
to the point of obsession.
yeah, and isn't like, and it's kind of in the space of, oh, he's not over someone, or that kind of thing. And then now we have Call Me If You Get Lost, where it's like, I'm still not sure what the plot is. Like, I'm not sure if there's actually a story at all.
It's kind of like the
Um,
least plot-oriented album, I think, in
yeah,
quite a while. But it's also like the character of Sir Baudelaire is pretty much the closest character to Tyler himself. It's pretty much just Tyler, but with like sort of little bit of fancy flourish compared to like Igor, who is very much sort of a deep in the character state.
we just pause a second so I can put
Mm.
some lighting on this one.
Yeah, yeah,
Getting
go
quite
ahead.
dark.
You were very in the dark. Yeah, so
Um,
as you were saying.
yeah, as I was saying, like, this, yeah, you're right. This is like this, whatever this character is basically just Tyler, and that makes a lot of sense, I think, because he did say, yeah, I want to rap a lot more on this one, and the music hasn't taken the entire back burner. It's not like been put entirely on the back burner. There is still some seriously good beats here. There is still some seriously good like kind of vibes and stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, and DJ Drama, I believe.
DJ Drama,
Yeah.
yeah,
So he is basically the hype man for the entire album,
yeah.
which is kind of like that's an extremely like old fashioned. That's a really bad term, but that's from like original hip hop stuff.
Yeah, it's like sort of the sort of late 90s into 2000s kind of era, the Gangsta Grills sort of mixtape stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of Wu Tang or Tribe would do that kind of stuff as well.
I would say even later than that. Like you would see probably like what is his name? He's so famous. Like 50 Cent. People like 50 Cent, Lil Wayne kind of era especially would be
Yeah,
doing the whole Gangsta Grizzle thing.
yeah,
So hype.
yeah. No, and it works really well. It really kind of gets like the vibe of like, oh, someone's shouting, what's going on, and then like the thing just happens, and it's like, yeah, this is great. But there are some seriously amazing bars on this album. We were talking about this the other day, um, but it's been really hard for me to like I don't love this as much as I love Eagle.
Mhm.
By the way, like I still prefer Eagle over
I'm
this,
the
but
exact same, yeah.
um, like some of the lyrics in this, like from Manifesto, where it's like the thing starts off with Tyler mocking, I guess, people on Twitter just saying, "Oh, you have to say,
Kind of
you
like
have to, you have to."
the sort of BLM white girls who are
Yeah,
very much like, you need to say. I mean, he literally quotes them, doesn't he? He's like, you need to say something
yeah,
about that.
like, and he's like, "Bitch, suck my," and then the song starts.
Yeah.
But like that's a really interesting stance to, well, not interesting. That is a totally valid stance to take on about this because, like, on the surface area, you'd think, oh. he should say something about it because he's black. It's like, no, he doesn't actually say anything about it. It's his right.
Yeah.
But it's like I think he would. I think his point was that he'd just say exactly what everyone else would say.
Hmm.
Um,
And
but
then I mean, the two of them then go on to actually say stuff about it, but kind of in their own way, and they're not just saying the same things that everyone else on like Twitter or Instagram would say. They obviously bring their own kind of opinions to it, which is cool.
I because Spotify. I'm guessing quite a lot of people use Spotify nowadays. But if you listen to "Call Me If You Get Lost," there will now be lyrics for every single song, pretty much.
I was very much
Um,
enjoying that feature yesterday.
yeah. So if you can, if you're into like that kind of music, if you're looking to start like if you're not really big on it but still want to hear a perspective or want to like dive into something new, I implore you, I heavily implore you to listen to this album with like looking at all the lyrics and
Mm.
all the beats and stuff because seriously, I like it kind of gave me some To Pimp a Butterfly vibes like with Manifesto. Like I kind of like I felt kind of like because that period of Kendrick's writing was kind of like also like oh there's shit going on, there's like this is me talking about my life, this is me talking about my people, this is me talking about where I
Mm.
come from, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um I mean it's always been Kendrick stuff, like Section 80 is literally the name of where he was from.
Yeah.
That was where that
That
was his
album is
end
so
pretty much.
good.
Yeah.
Um,
um
but yeah, I definitely see the butterfly comparison because it's talking about all these like social issues and racism and stuff, but it's in such like densely packed, entertaining rap music. So it's not like preachy. It's preaching definitely, but it's like in such a I don't know, just such a entertaining way to listen to. It's not some guy like just droning on this very minimal drum beat, like you have to respect people, like whatever the fuck.
no, yeah, it definitely isn't like he's copy and pasted everyone else's Instagram stories and spread that on a script over like a hi-hat beat or whatever.
Yeah,
Like this is still like yes, he's preaching, but he's preaching his perspective. He's preaching his how he feels about it. He
absolutely.
has like even if he won't say like even if he won't put out big story posts. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen him. I don't really follow.
He doesn't
Like I don't
really
really.
engage with that kind of stuff.
Um, I don't think a lot of black people did, to be fair. Like I think that I mean obviously they would make posts to kind of bring awareness about stuff, but they wouldn't then.
Kind of depends on yeah, it kind of depends on what the content is that we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't mean that like they would just like copy what everyone else was saying and saying, oh yes, this is how we should be doing it. It's like no, here's how I'm doing it. This
Yeah.
is my experience as a black person. But
Yeah,
anyway,
which is
we're,
kind of what
we're
the song is. He's doing his own thing to it, and it's not regurgitated, which is cool. And also Domo Genesis, the the reunion of Tyler and Domo was just perfect. It's so hard. They've
yeah.
both still got it, and they fit together still. It's cool. Um,
um I will jump into my alternate album of the year, and
wait,
then I'll
hang on.
let you.
Can I
Oh,
go? Because then we can still be talking about Call Me If You Get Lost, and I can do my
no, we
take on
can
it, and
keep
then
it.
we'll
Yeah,
both
cool.
talk
Yeah.
about. So for me, I didn't get into this album nearly as quickly. It took me a really long time to get into it, and then in the last week I've listened to the whole thing about 5, 6 times because it's just so good. Because in the lead up, obviously like everyone else, I listened to Lumberjack. And I listened to What's Your Name because the shortened versions of those were both on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be hard. Whatever's coming, it's going to be really good." But I was still expecting like Igor stuff. I was like, okay, so maybe there's a few rap cuts on the album, but it's still mostly going to be this sort of neo soul, sort of infused with hip hop kind of thing, and it's not. It's a true blue hip hop album. It's very much a rap album, and it took me a while to get used to that. When I was listening through, my brain just wasn't processing it. Same thing happened to me when I listened to Igor, but the opposite. I was expecting a rap album, and then it wasn't, so I was like trying to process it for a while. But once it clicked, oh my god, dude, it's so good. Like, Run It Up, magic. Hot Wind Blows, magic. Safari, magic. They're all so good. Like, there's something I saw someone point out the other day, which was Tyler has this ability to know exactly where to fit people on his albums, like where the features should go and what the features should do, which people likened it to like a sort of Pharrell way of doing things. I'd not really listened to much Pharrell, so I just have to assume that's true. But like he on What's Your Name, NBA YoungBoy, one of the most clowned rappers of all time, just has an amazing, like soulful, just like gorgeous verse. Tyler made him do that, which is insane to me. Also, Tizo Touchdown, which is an artist who I only really heard of recently, but he's pretty cool. He wears like a bunch of nails in his hair and stuff. He's like kind of like, I think he's kind of hip hop, but he also is a bit like emo and kind of rock and stuff, and hence why he dresses like that with all these literal nails in his hair. But on Run It Up, Tyler just fits him in where it's necessary, and it's at the moment it's my favorite song on the album because it just works. In the first like I don't know 10 seconds, you hear Tizo like singing the word "run" in the background, and then throughout, even when like Tyler's doing his sort of verses and stuff, you have Tizo doing these "run" and like "run it up" ad libs in the background until we get to the bottom when he has his own little verse, and then he helps like sing the choruses as well. It's like, I don't want you to come on my song and just do one verse. I want you to come on my song, and I'm going to put you here, 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 and here, and you're going to sound gorgeous. Mini rant over. I love it. It's one of my favorite things about the album. He's just making people do things that they wouldn't normally be able to do. It is literally magic. It's so cool.
Yeah. The direction of this has been fantastic. It's a fantastic hip hop album. Um, when you said before about Lumberjack and what's your name? Like,
Hmm.
well, I mean, sorry, it's not even just those two. Like, a lot of the album massively reminded me of Cherry Bomb.
Okay.
Like Lumberjack as well, with that kind of blasted. Like it's raw. It's like the notes they're not like they don't make sense. It just
Hmm.
it's like it's just like a semitone up, so it's like all kind of like making you feel like oh shit, it's intense.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
um and yeah, there is still that kind of that soul feeling that that I think kind of was made in uh fucking young from
From Cherry
Cherry
Bomb. Yeah,
Bomb.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where it's just kind of like the lyrics sound really kind of weird
It's
and
a
like
dodgy song, but it sounds
yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah, like it just sounds amazing. And this album does the exact same. I don't mean has dodgy lyrics. I mean just has
Yeah, yeah.
like it makes beautiful flowers. Like then it just kind of goes straight back into like the hard hip hop and like DJ Drama just shouting on the mic. Like you know
Yeah.
what, you already know who it is. It's just like
That part
yeah,
where
like,
he's
we don't,
like,
yeah.
we all got our toes out too. That's thanks for that DJ drama.
Like, there's what was the was it that one? I know which one you're on about, but I think it was in that ad lib that he did where he was like, some woman just gave him like a cocktail or like a massage or
Yeah,
something like
he's
that, and
like
it's just
a young woman just fed me French vanilla ice cream or
yeah.
something. We all got our toes out
That's what I
too.
do. I mean, it's like, huh? It's like what?
Yeah. I think a lot of people were a bit put off by him all over the album, but if you know why Tyler's doing it, which I'm pretty sure he's explained in like interviews and stuff. DJ Drama was all over rap mixtapes back in like the 2000s and stuff, and he would do this like gangster grills and just yelling and stuff. That's what Tyler's doing. That's why he's hired DJ Drama for the album. And if you know that, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I think even if I didn't know that, I might enjoy it anyway because it's just cool to have this other guy like hyping Tyler up the whole album and carrying him through it.
I'm just trying to find the interview that I watched for um, Call Me If You Get Lost.
Mm.
If you go on YouTube and type in Tyler Creator interview, it'll probably be the first one. It's from Hot 97.
Ooh, yes, I
Um,
watched some of that.
yeah, so that just explains like if you love Tyler like we do, and you kind of like you're still unsure about Call Me If You Get Lost, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna sit down for like I think it's about an hour long or something like that, and just watch like this guy talk about why it's this way. Like, I also just want to say, let's not go on for this for too long, but still,
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to say, the range that his entire discography is fucking insane. Like, Eagle has this soul R&B vibe to it,
Yes.
and it carries that immensely well. He won so much like awards and like so much praise, and
Yeah.
like I'm probably gonna blast it when I'm going to Leeds. I'm just like, yeah, I want to listen to fucking Tyler Creator.
Mhm.
And then Flower Boy was just kind of like this interesting. Like there was features on that as well. There was tons of features on that one as well.
Hella features.
Um,
Yeah.
and like the stuff with Kali Uchis. Like honestly,
She's a
I'm
god. Ah,
she's
amazing.
beautiful. I'm in love with that woman.
Mhm.
Like who the fuck isn't? But like still, the and then you go back and like Cherry Bomb, which everyone is kind of like on the fence about. They're either like, yes, this fucking slaps, or I'm not really sure about this. I'm in the middle ground with that. I'm like, if you're on the fence, I'm like under the fence, I guess. I've been buried on by the fence. I don't know where
Yeah.
I'm going with this metaphor, but
No,
like
but
that, like
I kind of get what you're saying. For me, Cherry Bomb, I don't really like it that much. There are a couple songs on it, like Find Your Wings and Smuckers, which are like two of my favorite Tyler songs. But overall, I don't like it. I think it's an annoying album, but I think it's really, really important for Tyler's progression. We couldn't have
yeah,
gotten to Flower Boy and Igor without having Cherry Bomb between Wolf and Flower Boy. It wouldn't have happened. So I get it's a really, really important album. I don't like it personally. That's kind of my stance on Cherry Bomb.
also the design of his characters, and then like I'm just looking at the poster for the vinyl for Flower Boy, and it's like all these gorgeous lyric cards. I mean, you saw it when it came around recently,
Hmm.
but it's all these gorgeous lyric cards in different colors and color palettes and stuff, and it's just like no one else in hip hop, I don't think would have done this.
Yeah,
Like no
not
one else
many
is
at
this.
least. No one at
Um,
his level of kind of fame, at
no.
least, probably.
And this is why he's so iconic. This is why he's so distinguishable, and why there's so much like chatter about him because he has so many different faces and so many different phases
Hmm.
um, of music, of characters, of style, of just what he's fucking about and doing. And there's so many iconic videos of him online throwing a toaster on the floor while making waffles.
Yeah,
And then there's the like all the skits and stuff. Like he's just so creative and funny. I mean, pun intended. Um,
it
like
fits.
yeah, he's it's a very fitting name for him. Um, but yeah, honestly, if this is like album, his stuff has just changed how I see everything. And I'm glad that I like well not just his stuff, but a combination of his stuff and
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
plenty of other music out there has kind of formed this kind of weird ball of where I am right now. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
We could probably go on for quite a bit longer about
yeah,
Tyler, but maybe save that for another day because you were right. We probably shouldn't spend forever on this. You know what we're like. The, f-
yeah.
the first episode is evidence of that.
Do you want to jump onto our honorable mentions?
Yes, yeah. Let's get on to the other stuff because
You
basically,
go.
I think we both had the same thought where we got together some other albums, or at least one other album that we thought could have won it, because we knew that we might have the same album, which of course we did. So for me, I had quite a few that I was considering at first, and I ended up crossing most of them off. But like when I was going through the list of albums that came out this year, I found so many that I was like, oh, I meant to listen to that. Oh, I meant to listen to that one. Oh, yeah, I meant to listen to that one. So I've got an entire list now of albums from this year that I'm going to go and listen to at some other time. The ones that I ended up with, that I was left with, were Call Me If You Get Lost, uh, Juno by Remy Wolf, The House Is Burning by Isaiah Rashad, and Pray for Haiti by Mark Homme. Um, and I think probably the one I'm going to talk about the most is Juno. But what's your other one?
I have two other ones,
Okay, yeah.
and one of them came out very recently. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've been giving this album so much praise. Oh, actually, sorry, I have technically three. The last one's not really an album; it's a single, but I'll
Yeah, go
jump on that
ahead.
later. Um, so I want to give the second piece of cake to An Evening with Silk Sonic because I fucking love this album. I like honestly the like I was never keen on Bruno Mars. Like I know he always like back in the like when I was growing up, he had a single in like that was on the charts like every single year,
Yeah, he
and
was huge.
probably yeah, probably even more frequently than that. But like yeah, there's so many like iconic videos he's made, um, like the Lady Song Grenade and stuff like
Mm.
that, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I was like, yeah, he's too commercial for my taste, and he's kind of whatever. But like there was this announcement back in February of this year, which we were trying to find out when did it first happen? When was this idea created? Of Anderson .Paak working with Bruno Mars and Bootsy Collins, who, if you don't know, was part of Parliament, which is a massive like 80s 90s funk band,
Hmm.
which is some seriously good funk. If you love bass and just kind of weird shit, then I would recommend Parliament. Absolutely
Nice.
recommend them. They've got some stuff in GTA. They've got one called Mothership Connection, which is just pop. But this was announced a while ago, and then I don't know which came out first. I don't know if it was the intro. I don't think it was. I think it was Leave It All.
Leave the door open, and then
Yeah,
Skate came out after.
yeah.
Yeah.
Leave It Door Open came out, and like everyone was like, "What? Like
Yeah.
whoa! Like this is crazy." And it's such a good track, and like there's key changes, and it's clever. They've kind of like made this little kind of gorgeous little tightly wound thing, and it just
Hmm.
works really well. Skate came out, and I was like, wow, those are really attractive women. I mean, yeah, that's a really um, like yeah,
Skate
like
is cool.
yeah, it's just a fun song, and it's pretty good to skate to as well. If you skate like me, if you're cool and uh
If you're a skater boy.
but yeah, like, and then that worked, and then the album came out very recently, and the best one, and like you can fight me on this. The best one is After Last Night because Thundercat, that bass,
That song
and
bangs.
that voice, it's just ugh. Yeah, that song definitely bangs. Like honestly, it's just so good, and like it just keeps climbing and climbing in the melody. It's so good. Um, but yeah, I recommend that one. That's a really good one.
Hmm.
Um, the third one that I really like this year that I'm still kind of again on the fence about is Fortitude by Gojira, which is massively different from R&B and hip hop. It's metal, heavy metal. Um, and I've been following this band since about 2016, when Magma came out, which was a really good album. And yeah, it came out, and like I was like, okay, I'm not really sure about this. There are some good tracks here, but they are massive environmentalists. They absolutely care about the world that we
Oh,
have and
that's
stuff
cool.
like that. And so with the release of one of their tracks, Amazonia, they were like, okay, we're gonna do a charity, raise some money, try and get some acres planted back in the Amazon rainforest. And also the album, like that song is just a really good song. Like there's good stuff there. And I recommend that if you like heavier stuff, But I also recommend their earlier stuff, but that doesn't really count. So, final one, and I'll let Arthur have his say. Um,
Yeah, no, take your time.
is
Honestly.
is it's cheers. It's Red Room by Hiatus Coyote, which is this single that came out. I don't know how recently it came out, but it came out this year definitely.
I think I saw
And
you
it,
posting that.
yeah, I adore it. Like when I first heard it, I was like, oh, like because I've heard some of their stuff before. I heard Nakamura, I heard the one I did with Q-Tip, um,
Oh,
which was
okay.
yeah, it's very good stuff. I'll send you it over. It's really good. Um, but yeah, like this came out, and like the whole story of it is that they were recording in this space, and it was just like literally like it was just like red. That's not red. That's orange. That's red. But
Yeah,
like it was
there we
just
go.
like this this dark vibe, and it was like it was just gorgeous, and there was like nothing else, just pure silence. Um, and it is a seriously haunting song. Like I don't know what her name is, but or their name is, sorry, but like the main singer just has this shrill kind of like really unique voice that kind of takes you. Like it's kind of just
Yeah.
like it's scary, but I like I like that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and like the bass line is so nice. Like the whole track is just chill. I work with this other guy where at my job, and like we just get play music whenever we want.
Hmm.
And we had this on. Like I put it on, and he was like, "This is amazing," and I'm like, "I know." Um, But yeah, it's seriously a good track. If you like kind of more chilled out stuff, if you like kind of more jazzy style stuff, Hiatus Kaiyotu are a great band, and Red Room is a fantastic single.
Red Room. I'm
Um,
gonna write that down.
and I'll also send you the other link as well. But that other track called Nakamura, they did a regular version and then one with a feature from Q-Tip, who has some seriously good bars.
Q-Tip is so cool.
Yeah, also a really cool name as well, like just Q-Tip. Like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, do you have anything to say about your other features?
Uh, I mean, yeah, I could talk a little bit. I had some other albums that I listened to recently, like the Silk Sonic album was on my list. It was one of the ones that got crossed off because I really liked some things about it. I didn't click with some other parts of it. It was good. Wasn't one of my favorites though. And then I had stuff like Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats Unlocked 1.5, Lyrics to Go Volume 2 by Kota the Friend, the Brockhampton album Roadrunner New Light New Machine, which is pretty good. But yeah, the ones that I actually landed on, I'll talk about the Isaiah Rashad album because that one was pretty big. Um, as of like this year, it had been 5 years since his last album. When I'm pretty sure it was 2016, he had The Sun's Tirade, which is incredible. The album cover looks really cool. It's like blue, and then it has this sort of almost like pixely art of him like sort of hovering above a car, as far as I remember it. And there's a lot of just like very just there's a very certain vibe. It's like he sounds very drunk and kind of like drugged up on a lot of the tracks. And he has this kind of like slurring voice that he just kind of flows from line to line on. And when I was revising for GCSEs, like back in 2016, 2017, me and my friend Jack, we would like go, okay, let's revise. And then we would go, what music shall we put on? And we'd put on The Sun's Tirade and then not do any revision at all. Because we'd just be like laying on the floor like, whoa, this album is so cool. So, like, then when we got around to this year and The House is Burning was set to come out, I was so excited. Everyone was so excited, and it didn't disappoint. He just, he still has it, that same vibe where he just sounds like a little drunk, but it's cool and it's musical, and a lot of the beats are just very nice and relaxing. There's a couple hard cuts on there as well, but I think where he really excels is like the slightly softer, a little bit more melodic, just kind of like cruising through little head bounce kind of stuff. I don't know, it's very cool. I think R.I.P. Young, probably one of my favorite tracks off that. But the one that I eventually landed on, the album that I eventually landed on, was Juno by excuse me, Remy Wolf, and that's a like a kind of pop and rock album, has elements of both. I don't know. Do you know who Remy Wolf is? Are you kind of familiar with her? Okay, so she really was like popping off last year with this song called Photo ID, which was like featured in a TV show, and it had like a couple of remixes. She had a remix with Dominic Fike, and she had a remix with the Free Nationals, who are kind of Anderson Paak's band, but like they are their own act as well. You have a Free Nationals? You familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a remix with them, which was pretty cool. And then this year she dropped Juno, which is I want to say like 12 tracks long, maybe. And what made me almost pick this one over Call Me If You Get Lost is that it took me a while to get into the Tyler album, but this one, I was on the train, I I just put my headphones in, I started playing it, and I'm instantly hooked. First two tracks, Liquor Store and Anthony Kiedis, are both amazing. They just drew me in immediately. And then I'm just going through and I just want to keep listening, and I get down to What You Doing, or WYD officially, which is like okay, and I'm like, alright, that's a bit of a miss, but then immediately after I'm onto songs like Gorilla, which is incredible, and I just keep going through, and despite there being a few misses on the album for me, like, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of Volciano, there is just such a lively energy and an incredible, just like, I need a concise word for it, but like the way she's put together tracks, yeah, it's just incredible. There's so many sounds and like sort of like loud guitars and cool sort of drums and keys and stuff. And she has a very charismatic, unique kind of voice as well. It just continues to draw you in all the way to the bottom of the album, where she has this slightly kind of sadder cut, "The Street You Live On," where she ends the album on talking about, you know, an ex and how she She tries to avoid him, and she could never drive down the street that he lives on. And it's like it's an emotional way to end such a, I guess, such a hard hitting album. Hard hitting in the sense that it's loud and colourful and bright, and it's cool. It's just cool. So that's kind of, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Juno, and I'm still listening to a few of them because I know they're going to grow on me. Like Buttermilk is a song that I know is going to grow on me. Meanwhile, I already have sort of Sexy Villain, Buzz Me In, Gorilla, Anthony Kiedis, all these other songs on my playlist at the moment, which I just keep listening to every day because they're just so good. And I think she's done like a bang up job because I'm pretty sure that's like her debut album. So she came out the doors with a bang, and it paid off. It's really cool. So
No,
go listen to Juno, everybody.
well, yeah, I've just saved them, and I think you guys should too. I have heard Tirade before. I don't mean the entire album. I've seen it advertised. I've listened to a couple of tracks from it, and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, but that was years ago. That'll probably be around the same time that you were listening
Mm-hmm.
to it,
Yeah, yeah.
and definitely revising and not just laying on the floor. Um, that like that that same time for me as well was when I first heard Gojira, which is really interesting. I kind of like that we both
We
kind of
both had a
found.
thing from that time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Again, here's the whole arc of we're just the same person, just in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's when I heard Stranded by Good. Stranded, that was the first song I heard, and I was just like, it's just fucking sick. But anyway, we are done with our album stuff. I think. Are you finished with yours?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also just going to name drop "Pray for Haiti"
Yeah,
by Matt Homie, and just can I talk just for a second about that, just
yeah,
because I
of
want to
course. Yeah,
let people
sorry.
know. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So "Pray for Haiti." Are you aware of Griselda, like who they are? West Side Gun, Conway, Benny the Butcher.
I know those three. Is that their name or
Yeah,
is
they
that?
are together. They are Griselda, which, for anyone who is not aware, they're kind of like a very modern group, but what they do sounds very old school. Kind of like the way they rap and the drums they use is very old school, but with a lot of just awesome production, which it doesn't sound dated. It doesn't sound like, oh, these guys listened to one Wu-Tang album and never grew out of it. Like, it sounds like they're really doing their own thing, and they have a lot of good bars. Like, listen to a couple of their songs. They all have like solo albums. They're all very much doing their own solo thing. Together they're Griselda. Mac Homie was kind of like the fourth guy who founded the label, the Griselda Records label, originally with them, and has kind of been doing his own thing since. Pray for Haiti came out this year. It's gorgeous. It's heavy hitting bars about, guns and drugs and kind of like sort of hard hitting issues, but it's done over some of the prettiest instrumentals I've ever heard in my life. I listened to, let me just find that one song. It's Folie à Deux, featuring West Side Gun and Keisha Plum. It's like, you listen to the instrumental and it makes you think of like fairies and like little wooded glade with dappled sunshine and little glowing mushrooms and shit. And then they're going so hard over the beat. It's just so cool. The same thing goes for kind of like the Stellar Ray Theory and No Blood, No Sweat. Same kind of thing. It's very gorgeous, sort of luscious, pretty beats, but he's just going sicko mode over the top, and it's a really nice blend. So, "Pray for Haiti" by Matt Comey.
Is, uh, so is Griselda actually separate from?
So he's not really part of Griselda, but he's affiliated with them. And when you listen to the album, you can hear like the Griselda like production tag before a couple of the songs
Oh, yeah.
start. So he's with them, but he's
Hmm.
not like in that main trio who actually like make songs together.
Cool.
There is one Griselda album, WWCD. So they
That's one.
do have
Yeah.
like one thing together. Yeah.
No, I've just saved both of those, so yeah, I will try and remember to look at those
Very
in the
nice.
next 20 years.
We're both gaining
Um,
stuff today. This is
yeah,
cool.
this is a good one. Um, do you have anything else you want to add?
Not really for that. I
Mm.
think that's pretty much it. So our next topic that we have on the board on the agenda is the discussion of this new wave of kind of Smash Bros. esque games, Smash likes, if you wanna if you wanna call them that. Namely, the new Nickelodeon All Star Brawl, featuring characters such as Reptar and SpongeBob. Um,
Yeah.
and then MultiVersus, which isn't out yet, but it will be coming out at some point. The play tests, people have signed up for those. I've signed up for the play tests, so hopefully I get into those. And that's going to be featuring characters like Shaggy from Scooby Doo, who has the powers that he has in the memes, the kind of Goku aura and stuff, and Superman, Batman, Steven Universe, Finn and Jake from Adventure Time, that kind of stuff. Anything that's owned by Warner Bros. Essentially, because it's Warner Bros. Answer to Nick Brawl.
I'm gonna don't forget Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry as
Tom
well.
and Jerry, yes.
Yeah.
What's the full roster? It's like Finn, Jake, the new original character, Bats, Soups, Wonder Woman, Steven, Garnet, Tom and Jerry, who are one character together, kind of like Banjo-Kazooie but cursed.
Or Duck Hunt, I guess.
Or Duck Hunt, yeah. And then I feel like I'm missing someone. Oh, Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. Because, yeah, she's also on the roster because she's owned by Warner Bros. So, Superman versus Arya Stark, here we come. So now that everyone's up to... Oh, also I should mention that the main game mode for this game is 2v2, unlike Smash and Nick Brawl, where the main game mode is kind of like a 1v1, but free-for-all and team battle are also sort of heavily featured. The main focus for MultiVersus is 2v2. That is kind of like the main theme of the game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, I want to start off by saying I don't know much about Nickelodeon All Stars. I just know that it had a big following when it first came out, and then that following very, very quickly. Yeah. I don't really have much interest in it. I just kind of thought, oh, they're doing this thing now, and then MultiVersus was announced, and that is one I'm more kind of interested in because it's free to play.
Yes, that's the big thing that's going to get everyone coming in.
And I wonder how they're gonna make money from it. It might just be either you buy maps or like cosmetic items.
Probably
or you
cosmetics. I know from the kind of first trailer that Superman has like a Black Lantern alternate costume, so I would assume that you'll be able to buy skins like in Fortnite and stuff. Pretty cool.
And also, you mentioned as well, I think, to me, outside of this, yes, we have lives outside of the podcast.
We don't just exist in the screen, people.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just waiting in the dark for this to start, and we're like, like,
Content.
that's it. Yeah, it sounds like a PS4 fan starting up. You mentioned to me that that the developers were like, really serious about like making these characters well balanced stuff.
For which game?
Or for MultiVersus.
Yes, the developers has kind of been said in this sort of pre-rollout phase that the devs are very much focused on adding new balanced characters continuously over time and making sure to kind of pour some support into the esports scene, because we kind of know from Smash and its history, especially Smash Bros. Melee, and the esports scene that has, and its history with Nintendo not really wanting them to play this old game from 2001, and they're like, please just play our latest release, and everyone else is like, I want to play Melee though. So then they're like cancelling events and banning streams and stuff. Anyway, it's kind of the opposite story here. The developers of MultiVersus really want to support the esports scene that they are hoping will develop.
Yeah, I think that's what All Stars tried to do. I don't know if that even is a name for it, but yeah, that's what.
All-Star Brawl, but close enough.
Yeah, that's what they tried to do, and I don't know if it actually has failed, but I don't see much going on about it as much as everything else.
If you look on the YouTube channel VG Bootcamp, they're like pretty much the biggest YouTube channel for posting like all the matches from like Smash Bros events, Melee, Ultimate, and they also post any tournaments that are held, like any of the bigger tournaments that are held for All-Star Brawl, but you will notice significantly more Smash tournaments being held, while Brawl just kind of, sorry, not Smash Brawl, while All-Star Brawl kind of cowers in the shadows with its no voice acting, no music having game. Oh, you didn't know? That's one of the biggest turn-offs. This game, with characters like SpongeBob and Patrick, it doesn't yet have a proper voice-acted, soundtracked audio experience to go with. Which, I actually have this written down because MultiVersus is going to have voice acting on release. Whereas All-Star Brawl is like, hey, maybe you'll get it later. I just don't have hope for All-Star Brawl in the face of MultiVersus.
That's terrible. That's just like, is it just pure silence then, or is it just like, is it just
I
pure
mean,
silence? And then you just hear.
you not quite that bad. You have all of the move sound effects, like that's fully implemented, obviously, and they did their best with that. But what people quickly realized upon the game's release, and I think the devs even kind of said it themselves, is that they were working on a pretty small budget, and the game was an experiment to see, do people want this game? If the answer is yes, then after kind of it's been out for a little bit, we'll make sure we get the voice acting in and all the correct music and stuff. But I think they were just kind of hired out of nowhere and not given the biggest budget, which is,
Yeah.
in hindsight, I can see why they did it, because they just wanted to test the waters. But in hindsight, not a good idea, especially when it's such a popular idea, and Warner Brothers immediately were like, hey, we can do that, but better, and turned around and announced MultiVersus.
Just imagine like MultiVersus and Smash Bros. Just like that JoJo meme where they're kicking that one dude on the floor and it's just fucking all Smash
Yeah, pretty much.
Bros. But yeah, no, like I just I didn't want this like this topic might be like like I'm not sure what's happening with sorry, what am I saying? I'm not sure what's happening with these like I don't want to say battle I was about to say battle royale, but like yeah, it kind of does feel like it's going. Is that what's gonna be happening now? Or is it gonna be like the
What, like, kind
big
of this be the
franchises?
new, like, trend of games and stuff?
I don't know because Smash Bros. Ultimate has kind of had it's still having its heyday, I guess. I mean, it had its heyday back in 2018, but
Yeah.
um, like we've had fighting games like this before. We've had Tekken, we've had Soul Calibur,
Mm.
we've had
Oh,
um,
man, of course, yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
forgot about Soul Calibur.
we had I think Def Jam had a fighting game.
Def
I'm not
Jam had
sure.
a fighting game.
I'm not sure. I might be completely wrong with that, but like there was some like
I
but yeah,
kind of
like
wouldn't be surprised, to be fair. That seems like a wacky, fun thing to do.
why didn't I just say Mortal Kombat? Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, these kind of games that freaking what's the one that Terry's from? King of Fighters,
And
um,
Fatal Fury.
and Fatal Fury as well. Um, and yeah, like we've had games like this before. We've had games where it's like you fight each other. Maybe there's gonna be like a Scott Pilgrim one day, or there's gonna be like a freaking
Yeah.
um uh I don't know, a Rockstar one that will have really bad graphics.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
sorry, you
no,
go
no,
on.
no. I'm just going in one.
Yeah, I
Go on.
mean, I think the thing is with this, right? It's like no one's ever come this close to what Smash Bros is. So many fighting games have kind of come and gone, gotten really popular and sort of gone off again. And you have the ones that have stood the test of time, like Smash Melee. Currently, we have that alongside Smash Ultimate, which is the latest Smash game. Um, and I'm pretty sure you still get like Street Fighter tournaments. You get a lot of Mortal Kombat players, but these games, these new games, Multiversus and All Star Brawl, are the closest thing to Smash that we've had since Smash itself. And I wonder how much of a leg that has to stand on, and whether this is going to be like the new wave of fighting games after Smash being out for like all this time since the 90s, or whether they're going to kind of have their couple years in the sun and then die off, and people who are making fighting games will go back to a more classic formula where it's like get the opponent's health bar down, and instead of like the more you hit them the further back they fly, until you knock them off the stage, because that's the Smash formula.
Can you imagine a Hasbro like all-star fighting game where it's just like Optimus Prime being Barbie or something like that? You know, like
That would be sick. Ken is a bottom
that's just that's,
tier.
that's just the whole trailer though. It's just like there's like blood squirting out. It's like come on next year, hey.
Yeah.
um no, sorry, that did sound like I was just ignoring what you were just saying and looking at my. Hey, that would be cool.
No, I'm with
No,
you.
like yeah, like there is like this interesting. Like I don't know where it's come out of nowhere basically
Mm.
for both these games, like for both MultiVersus and for All Star Nickelodeon Brawl or whatever weird colon name they have.
Yeah, yeah.
But like yeah, it's come out of nowhere and everyone like there was big buzz about it. There was like, oh, this could be really cool. We could have other fighting games to play. We could see, like, oh, they've got a air dashes. They've got all this
Hmm.
stuff. But it flopped.
Yeah.
And then Multiverse is coming out, which I haven't seen much of, which I need to actually have a look at as well. Which is like, yeah, this is interesting. I'm
I mean,
still,
we can take a minute if you want to have a look at the trailer if you want to.
nah, it's cool.
Okay, yeah.
I kind of wanted to like, you know, um, I'm still baffled by fucking Arya Stark being in there. Um,
Yeah, I don't know anything about Arya Stark other than she is a Game of Thrones character. So I'll be interested to see how she kind of fits in among Jake the dog and Batman.
we're getting like the Animaniacs in there as well. Oh wait, no, they're Hanna-Barbera, aren't they? Or are they Warner Brothers?
I mean, Warner Brothers owns Hanna-Barbera, right?
Yeah, what am I saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be
Yeah.
hilarious. Like,
Wacky races.
yeah. Just imagine them going like, okay, Superman gives you best. I don't know, their eyes like are missing because like lasers have just gone straight through them. Like, and like the guy's just like,
Dick Dastardly turns up.
oh
Yeah,
my,
I don't know. There's so much that you can do with each source kind of like character pool.
mm,
But I think one thing, like when All Star Brawl gets its voice acting and its proper finished like music soundtrack, which better happen soon. I think it will kind of depend on what kind of childhood you had. I think maybe for a lot of people they might be more drawn to the Nick characters, like, whoa, I fucking love Reptar, or I don't know, something. And then they really want to play that game because it has SpongeBob and all their favourites. Or if you were more of a Cartoon Network kid instead of Nickelodeon, then you'd be more drawn to MultiVersus. Like, they have a whole bunch of stuff. Cartoon Network has a wealth of shows that you could import these quirky little cartoon characters from.
fucking Ben 10.
Is he
Oh,
Cartoon Network?
yeah, he would. That would be fucking sick though. Sorry, I've just okay. You can tell I'm a Cartoon Network kid straight away, can't you? But like, still, that would be fucking
That
awesome.
would be
So
sick. Imagine all the things you could do with Ben 10 in a
like
fighting game.
that'd be like Pokemon trainer, like you like all like freaking or hero from
Mm.
Smash, where you have like a set amount of which character you can turn into, but you're like, but like Cloud's Limit Break, you can only do it after like a certain amount.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Like, well, okay, that would work weirdly because Ben 10 is kind of useless on his own, but like you'd have like one base character which you get to play as, and you kind of like level up in a way.
That'd be pretty
And you
sick.
and you get like 1% chance to be like I don't know all of them. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
That'd be dope.
Uh,
Who else does Cartoon Network have? And actually,
uh,
I mean, I'd say that like that's just one pool that they could draw from for this game. They
I
own
know
so much shit.
uh, Ninja Turtles, don't they own that? Or is that
That's Leonardo is in Nick All Star Brawl already. Yeah. Unfortunately, who else is in that game? It's either
well?
one of the other turtles or it's like April, maybe.
Oh, April's in
Um,
there. I know April's in there.
okay, yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, but that like Cartoon Network also has like regular show, which would be interesting.
That's true,
Um,
actually.
it also had Chowder. Do you watch Chowder?
I didn't, but I
Um,
know of Chowder.
um, uh, like
Cartoon
yeah,
Network, do they have Gravity Falls? Could we potentially see like Grunkle Stan in MultiVersus? That would be insane.
may, Maybe I think they do. Yeah,
Yeah, Dipper and Mabel combo character. That would be cool.
yeah. Or fucking Bill Cipher, like they hit. That'd
Oh
be
my
like
god,
interesting.
yeah. Bill Cipher
Um,
versus Superman.
but yeah, like I think our main point is that this has so much potential. This has like it could be fucking awesome. Um, but I think with the scenario that has transpired of Nick All-Star Brawl fight game thing, um, like that's just not how to do it because like you have all these great characters and this great idea that could rival one of the biggest franchises of all time. That with no voice acting, no music, and it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
like it's like what?
Yeah, the
And,
big pro that game has is that the gameplay is very fast and
hmm,
technical, which suits a lot of people, especially fans of Melee, who love that like very fast pace. For anyone who doesn't know,
page, yeah,
Smash Bros. Melee was the second Smash Bros. Game. It came out in 2001, still played to this day as an esport, um, and it requires you to be very like technically gifted with your hands on the controller. The game was They made it on a very limited time frame, which left the game being a little bit unfinished. And over the years, over the last 2 decades, the sort of top players have like exploited all the sort of like movement bugs and sort of glitches and little things you can do to like enhance your gameplay. So my point is that it's very technical. That's what Nick All-Star Brawl has to an extent. The gameplay is very fast. I think it attracts that kind of player. But then as I'm saying this, I think about how small the player pool for Melee is compared to the pool for like Ultimate and General Fighting games. So I kind of counted myself. It's a it's a pro rather than a con, depending on who you are. So it has that going for it. But like I said earlier, I don't feel confident for this game, considering that Ultimate is still really big, Melee is big, and MultiVersus is now coming out.
yeah. No, I feel the same. I just think that I mean, speaking more as a Cartoon Network kid, like yes, of course I watched SpongeBob and I watched like Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, but I like fucking loved Ben 10 as a kid. Like absolutely loved like all the weird shows that came on Cartoon Network and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think in any case I'd probably get Multiverse when it comes out and see what it's like.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I just like I like when you want about how Melee has been like exploited and like how it was like rushed and stuff like that. I think it makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. But I think it makes sense why Nintendo is so vigilant to not have that game shown at all.
Mm. Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, obviously they want to show Ultimate and they want to show the new fighters and stuff like that. But the way they're going about it is fucking stupid
Yeah.
because like it's just stupid and like I think now these are the franchises are like, hey, they're being idiots. How about we make a decent fighting game and the world will be going crazy about it?
Yeah. I think it's actually funny that we're talking about this now today because a couple of days ago, and I saw this like yesterday evening, uh, Nintendo actually turned around recently to a Melee event and they were like, you know what, guys? We've changed our minds. We like Melee now. But our kind of talking about this still stands because they've been shitting on Melee ever since Brawl came out in like 2008. So
Yeah. So are they okay? I can look
that's
into it myself,
yeah,
but
that's like
like,
a conversation for another time. But the gist of it is, I think they have kind of realised that they're not going to win the battle against Melee players, so they've just gone, okay, fine, we'll fund some prize pools, and you kids can play your 20-year-old game. That's fine with us. Yeah.
really bad choice. Um, but yeah, I think. Do you have anything else you want to say about this?
No, not really. I think I'm
No.
done. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I think we should move swiftly on and try and get these last two topics out before we are consumed by the sun of ADHD.
Yeah.
Um, so very recently, and I'm sure a lot of you lot will know, we had a new trailer released for No Way Home.
Yeah.
Um, and the hype has been increased for both of us. I think we're both like super excited for this.
Hmm.
Because yeah, like there was some interesting stuff going on because of a certain trailer released in a different country where in Brazil, I think, where they released the trailer. But basically, there's one scene in it where you just see Tom Holland Spider-Man jumping towards uh, Electro, Sandman in the middle, and
Lizard.
Lizard, but they're all framed really weirdly. It's not as if they're kind of on a horizontal kind of plane or going towards him. They're on
Yeah.
a vertical plane, and like they're all attacking different people. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
huh.
If you haven't seen it, it's like Spider-Man in the middle, Electro's up here, Sandman's here, kind of on a trajectory with Spidey, and then Lizard is at the bottom
And Lizard isn't swinging for Tom Holland; he's swinging for someone
for
else. And then
someone else.
in the edit that the Brazilian's Sony page put out, um, like he gets punched, but by nothing. It's like,
Yeah. Just before the camera cuts to the next shot of the trailer, you see Lizard get hit in the face. And for anyone who's not up to date with any of this, the big rumor is has kind of been like halfway confirmed about a million times and sort of debunked by Andrew Garfield desperately a million times. Is that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man films and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from the original Spider-Man trilogy from the 2000s, they will both be appearing in this as kind of entries from other universes because Spidey and Doctor Strange managed to kind of break the multiverse and there's all sorts of shit going on. So piecing that together with what we know about what we know about Marvel Studios liking to edit things out of their trailers to keep secrets, Lizard isn't being punched by no one, so it's probably one of them.
yeah, there's that, and then there's also like reshoots that have been done as well. Like there are like certain things going on that are like this might not be the actual thing. That character might have been swapped out for a different character, or
Hmm.
there's one shot of Doctor Strange like where his face is like just like here,
Hmm.
and like he's looking out that way, and then in thinking a different trailer, it was like way around and different as well.
Mm.
So I think they're being like like that shot of like all the Endgame stuff where they showed like the final trailer of like, oh yeah, Hulk's fighting everyone on Earth. It's like, no, it's not. Um,
Yeah, in the Infinity War trailer, when they
really,
showed him in his
sorry.
actual Hulk form, and then when he got to the film, it turned out it was just Bruce in the Iron Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Um, so yeah, they're being clever about it, but like they've also slipped up a couple of times. Well, not slipped up. It's happened. The film has happened. There's no way they could have like shown that part of the film without spoiling it if they hadn't changed the thing in the first place.
Yeah.
So we know we a lot of people are into their games now, saying,
Yeah, there's leaks all over
no,
Twitter. But you know what's really interesting? I was in the cinema again a couple days ago watching Eternals for the second time with my friend who hadn't seen it yet, and the No Way Home trailer plays, and the little half a second where Lizard gets punched in the face is gone, and instead has been replaced like 20 seconds beforehand when Electro says, "You're not going to take this from me," and then he does that big blast of electricity. Well, originally that just then cut away to the next shot. Now it cuts away to Doc Ock getting blasted backwards by that electricity for like half a second. The sliver amount of time that would have been Lizard getting kicked in the face by an invisible force, they've kind of chopped it to cover it up. But people have already seen it. It's all over Twitter. But yeah, this trailer that's in the cinemas is one that has it missing. It's not there.
that's interesting though. That's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like anyway, sneakiness aside, with like we now have confirmed uh 5 of the Sinister Six.
Yes.
Well, there's also 2 goblins, so
Two goblins, unless it's Willem Dafoe's goblin in a different costume for some reason, which I didn't think anyone would assume that, but there are people who think that. So, I don't know. But me and Shocho were talking about it the other day. We kind of figured it was either Ned as Hobgoblin, because there were some rumours that Ned would be becoming Hobgoblin in this film, or it's Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or it's James Franco, but that's not likely because he's like an abuser now and Marvel probably wouldn't rehire him, even though it really, really looks like his costume.
So at the same time, uh, Franco's Goblin had a surfboard, not a wakeboard.
That's true.
So, and as well as that, I like. But there, that is the weird thing because I'm pretty sure the Goblin in 3, uh, as in Tobey Maguire's Goblin, had like the weird shuriken things. So, it might just be that design, but with a different actor.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure.
Actually, it could be that Goblin, right? But just played by a different guy, which I hadn't considered. That's a good point.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting. I
Or
mean,
it's a
it would
new
be,
Goblin.
or it's New Goblin. I don't know. Like, there's some serious speculation going on here, but end of the day, I can't wait to see some of these characters and what they do with them. I hope it's just not like a cameo, like they're there for a couple of scenes and the film's over.
Yeah.
I doubt it's going to be the entire thing because I think the entire plot is the multiverse is opened, shit's going on.
We got to
Help.
fight the Six.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um.
just to add another little bit of something onto what we're talking about, you know how Electro looks different in this film, and how the whole reason he was blue in the first one is he got all infused and crazy with the blue electricity. People are theorizing that yes, Jamie Foxx is playing this Electro like he did the other one, but this is a different Electro. This isn't the one from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is an interesting take. I don't know how I feel about it, but that's just, just a little something extra that people are theorizing.
End of the day, he looks much better. Like, he
Yes,
looks way
so
cooler.
much better.
Like the combat outfit, like just yeah.
Plus,
And
the
like
electricity is yellow now,
yeah,
and he has that star thing appearing on his face, just like in the comics. Cool.
yeah, it's very cool. Um, and again, Alfred Molino or Molina.
Molina,
Yeah.
yeah.
As Octopus again, just seeing more of him and more of his action and the bit in the trailer where he absorbs Peter's nanotech.
Mm,
I'm just like, oh shit.
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Um, I just I like they're playing the cards very right with this. Like apart from all like the trying to hide up all the stuff and stuff like that.
Mm,
Um, I think they're like bringing the hype hard. Like it's just hard.
yeah.
Um, uh, Also I saw a post today. Um, and it's a panel interview with the cast of Hawkeye,
Okay, yeah.
and someone asks, "Oh, could we see like a Young Avengers film at some point?" And Haley Steinfeld turns around, looks at Kevin Feige, and says nothing, and it's just like,
Okay, so conversations have been had then that the public is not privy to yet.
like
Oh
I'm
my
just like,
god. You know all those edited pictures of Kevin Feige with like a massive sniper
oh, yeah,
rifle?
yeah, yeah,
Uh, oh, that's
that's
so
it,
exciting.
yeah.
That's one of the rumored things that I'm most excited for. Young Avengers and Thunderbolts.
Mm.
Like, yeah, I'm so excited for those.
We also have a new Guardians lineup as well, which would be interesting.
Do we?
Well, yeah, Thor's part of it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, true. And Nebula. She kind of was there before, but not
Mm.
officially.
Yeah, she was doing some bits in the second one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like the new costumes, by the way, I like the black suit. Right, I like this version a lot more than the stealth one that we had in Far From Home.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, Night Monkey.
because that one was just kind of like, looks too tactical.
It was
It doesn't
okay, but you could kind of tell exactly who gave it to him because it's exactly like something that Nick would issue you if you were doing a job for him. So it's cool, but it's not very Spider-Man, which is
I think that was the
part
point
of
though.
yeah, which is part of why the advanced suit is so fucking cool because he makes it himself using the Stark shit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't like it's interesting what they're going for because it seems like I've seen an interview with well not seen I've seen a quote from an interview with Tom Holland where he's like you're gonna see some seriously bad things happen to your favorite characters that you wouldn't wish on them. It's like okay, so there's that scene of Happy with all the sniper dots on him. There's a scene of Aunt May running from something, and
Yeah.
then there's MJ falling off a
Falling off the
building.
thing, very reminiscent of poor old Gwen. That made me fucking cry the other day when I saw
Yeah,
it. He catches her, but it's still not enough because like the impact of the drop. Anyway, I'll make myself
the
cry
little
again.
hand reaching out as well. Like,
I thoroughly enjoyed that film, actually, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Accepted its flaws and thoroughly enjoyed it. But just not to get away from the point of what we were talking about. It's in that same like kind of quote section, isn't it, where he's like, "This film is not fun. It's not fun. It's serious. It's like heavy." I can't remember what the things he said were, but I distinctly remember him saying in that quoted section of speech that this film is not fun, which it makes me excited for it because I'm like, okay, so what heavy shit are we going to be experiencing in this? So it's cool.
this is what we spoke about in, I think, the first or second podcast, or like, and we've spoken about it before, like in our own time. Just saying that we are tired of this bumbling Spider-Man that we see a bit of at the start of this trailer. We see him kind of be like, "Oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? Oh,
What just happened?
yeah."
Eh. Yeah,
Oh, I'm the character that gets exposition. It's like, okay, cool, yeah, but like,
yeah.
like now that we have like all this stuff going on, like there's some serious stakes here, and I really like that. Like, I think like now they're taking the audience seriously. They're taking the character of Peter Parker seriously as well. I think this is what we were saying, predicted as well. I think everyone's predicted it. Is just saying he is now going to be mature.
Yeah.
He's going to be like the forefront of the MCU kind of
I hope so,
thing.
because this guy, this man is saying he might not want to continue with the role of Spider-Man after this, and he's like considering his future. So I hope he stays on, because I want them to give him time to. I want them to give his character time to evolve into an adult. Because, like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This personality that they've given him is original comic Miles Morales personality. The goofy kid who's like, I'm Spider-Man now and I like the Avengers. I want to be an Avenger when I grow up. And is like constantly sort of, idolizing Captain America and Iron Man and that. And he wants to be like them. But Peter Parker, traditionally, in the comics, is not an Avengers wannabe. He'll do
Okay.
Avengers stuff, but he very much likes doing his own thing.
Yeah.
This Peter doesn't have that yet. So if they do get rid of Tom Holland, cast a slightly older guy, do college Spider-Man.
Yeah. And also in the comics, I believe that Spider-Man and Iron Man hate each other, or that he hates Iron Man.
Yeah,
Um,
they at least don't get along, because Iron Man's a bit of a dick in, like, quite a traditionally. I don't know if traditionally is the word, but I've seen people say before MCU Iron Man kind of influenced everything. Tony was a bit of a different character.
um, but yeah, like this is an interesting. To jump back to, the whole point. Like, this is a really interesting take on these characters and stuff. I really think that I really think that like they are doing some serious work on it as well.
Hmm.
But there's so much being said in interviews and stuff that like at the end of the day it might be taken out of context. It might be completely like thrown out of the loop. That makes you think: are they still doing Spider-Man? Like, I get that they're having heroes, Moon Knight,
Hmm.
but like, like I get they're doing different heroes now, I get making new arcs and stuff, but they can still have those heroes and have kind of again a flagship bearer of the MCU.
Hmm.
Um, Unless it's just going to be kind of everyone's thing, but that would be, I think that would be too chaotic. I think if they had like everyone taking role, it would be who the hell is doing this? Who the hell is like? That's why they had Iron Man being kind of like the leader and the icon, you know.
Yeah, I think if Spider-Man, if the future of Spider-Man is a little bit on the rocks, then I think maybe we need kind of like a main character for each kind of realm of the MCU. You know how we've kind of got like the geopolitical stuff, we have the space stuff, the magic stuff, and I assume with like Blade and Morbius and like Black Knight and all of that kind of thing, like the supernatural realm of the MCU as well. If we can kind of have like one big standout film series for each, then that works out. But I would kind of hope that Spider-Man is somewhere in there leading the way for one of those realms, because he is important. the Marvel universe isn't the Marvel universe without Spider-Man. So if they lose him, if they lose Tom Holland, I mean, honestly, just cast someone else. You can't
Yeah,
not have Spider-Man when we're going into this sort of more comic accurate, advanced, wide open universe.
maybe what they're doing is with the other two actors that are totally not going to be in the film. Um, maybe they're giving them a chance to have their own run of stuff,
Yeah,
or maybe
maybe.
they're going to have other different universe versions of Spider-Man. Like I'm still fingers massively crossed for 2099 Spider-Man.
Mm,
It'd also be cool to have like a short noir style film of like Spider-Man noir. That'd be pretty cool.
that'd be pretty cool.
Like shot like properly like old kind of Columbo kind of stuff. Like that vibe. That'd be really
Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Um, because they've done that before with WandaVision, and that works incredibly well. They know they can do that old vibe really well.
If they hire the
Um,
right people to run these projects, then you get what you want, and it's a high quality product.
yeah, I agree. Um, but yeah, I can't really think of anything else I want to say about this. What about you?
No, not particularly. I mean, I think just on the kind of thought train of maybe they want to give Toby and Andrew a shot again at doing the Spider-Man thing. I think like with that, Sony would probably want to kind of hold on to those, at least one of those two, for their own stuff, because they literally came out like earlier this year before Venom Let There Be Carnage came out and said, "Hey, we're doing the Sony Spider-Man universe now, and Venom Let There Be Carnage will mark the start of that, and you can't have a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man." So I kind of wonder what exactly the plans are there, and if we even if we continue to have Spider-Man films, it would be a real shame not to have them take place in the MCU, because I want Spider-Man to be there for the big events when we eventually get to shit like Secret Wars or I don't know, some kind of big Avengers level Galactus threat thing. Like I want Spider-Man to be there because he's so important. So even if we get to keep watching Spider-Man films, and maybe he's kind of mixed in with like Venom and Morbius and that, I think it would be such a shame. It would be bittersweet. Like, yay, I get to keep watching Spider-Man, but he's not with the rest of my favorite characters because Sony want him for themselves.
I don't know. Like it's really up in the air. Again, we said this last time, but it is really up in the air of what they're going to be doing.
Yep,
Um, but I don't know. Maybe they're wanting to kind of have like a group of them. That'd be really cool.
that'd be cool. Spider
Um,
Squad.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I we'll have to wait. It's not long until the film comes out.
Not
And
at all.
once that is out, I think we're going to be straight back on here making a podcast as soon as like we'll be,
Hell yeah,
or we could even do it in real life. That'd be really fucking
that
cool.
would be sick.
Um, because now we are both vaccinated.
Hmm.
I'm actually triple vaccinated because
Ooh, got your booster.
yeah, and it hurt. Um, um, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm looking forward to it either way. This film is going to be nuts. It's going to be insane.
yeah. um, so do you want to move on to the?
Yeah, we're kind of onto our last like topic of the day now, because now that we've had Disney Plus Day and Shang-Chi is on Disney Plus, you've seen the film, so we can talk about that now. Um, I'm looking forward to talking about Eternals as well whenever you get to see
Yeah.
that, whether it's a sort of late cinema viewing or whether it's whenever that comes out on Disney Plus, because I've got a lot to say about that. I really enjoyed the film. I think you'll probably like it. So yeah, but Shang-Chi, what were your kind of initial takeaways from this film?
Well, I was anticipating it quite a bit. Like when I first saw the trailer, I was like, "This looks cool, um, really interesting," and again, like a really like interesting take into the Ten Rings because we saw them in three, Iron Man 3, and with the Mandarin, which was done twice actually because there was Ben Kingsley and then there was freaking Aldrich Killian. I know that's
Yeah,
actually not his, that's not the character's name, but um, like that was just like, oh, it's a joke. It's not actually the bad guys. And we actually
Yeah.
see who the Mandarin is, and
Wait, hang on, I
um,
lost your audio for a second there.
oh, sorry, I was just saying like, we have the actual Mandarin in this film, and he's
Hmm.
really cool. Like he's such an
He's
awesome
dope.
character. Um, and again, this is great because we have again a fully uh like non-white cast. The one guy with the sword arm and stuff, but like like it's the majority of characters are Asian, and it's like awesome. I love that stuff, and
It's
like
pretty groundbreaking to
yeah,
have, on this level, the MCU, and we have this massively Asian cast. That's is cool. It's sick.
yeah. But this film, so it starts out very interesting, like how like who Shang-Chi is, and like his dad, and like how he came to get all the power and stuff. And again, it's one of those plot lines where it's like, yeah, but how did no one know who the guy was? Okay, cool. I'll just watch the film.
Yeah.
Um, um, and it was building all this lore of like met wife.
Wait, hang on. I keep losing your audio for some reason. Can we just take a tech break for a quick second to figure
Yeah,
that out? So yeah, you were saying about the opening of the film.
yeah. So like it builds all the lore for like these characters and how I forget what Wenwu, sorry,
When we
how
that's it.
Wenwu meets his wife, and how like the world that she's in, how interesting it is, like the moving forest, which is really cool by the way. I really like that. That's it, where like all the trees like closing in. It's just like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like Goblet of Fire with the
yeah,
maze wolf, but even cooler, even more
yeah,
dramatic.
yeah. And then like it was like, oh, and the mysterious force and the great protector. I'm like, yeah, that's the dragon. I can't wait. And it was a very good wait. That dragon's fucking awesome.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the film starts out and it's like we see Sean, and we see him kind of going about his life being a valet driver, and I don't know what the actual actor name is, but she's from Kim Convenience, which Simu Liu also was, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, which apparently is a very good sitcom. I've never watched it, but I've
I've heard good things. I did try the first episode. It didn't quite grip me, but I would probably go and watch a bit more just to kind of see what else, what it's like.
but they have great chemistry. Chemistry. That's what I just
They
said.
do. They do have
They-
great chemistry.
Yeah, nice one, Harry. Um,
Oh, we've all been there.
yeah, but yeah, they work together really well. The characters are really fun. And she worked pretty good as an exposition device, if you know what I mean, where it's the one who will ask a question of who the hell are you
Yeah, yeah.
and why are you this way. Um, like that bus fight was awesome. Like I really liked that. I really, really, really
That's
liked
probably
that.
my favorite part of the film. I think it's just so sick.
Because it has the balance of comedy and stuff. Like we see the guy who tells Spider-Man to do a backflip in Homecoming. He's like, "Yo, it's your boy here. I'm quickly on the train. I actually did a bit of martial arts when I was younger, so like I know what's going on. I can actually rate this here." And I was like, "That's hilarious. I love you." Um, I love that everyone else is like looking shocked, like, and like this guy's just recording it. But like that's really good world building because it's like, okay, they're used to this world and they're used
Mm,
to like guys with hammers falling out of the sky and stuff like that.
that's very true.
Which was touched upon in Far From Home, where that now they are used to being taught about Thor in physics class or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, that fight's awesome. We get to see like the pendant stolen. It's like, oh god, it's like the big bad guy. His dad's bad. It's gonna be like Darth Vader, where he has to kill his dad and stuff like that. And but that's later. Sorry. But yeah, that first fight seems really cool. There's funny action bits. Sorry, there's funny comedy bits. There's great action. Like the choreography of this film is outstanding. Like, where he takes off his jacket, he still punches people, puts it back on. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can tell they did research with plenty of like films that have kung fu and like Bruce
Mm,
Lee
yeah,
and
yeah.
Jackie Chan stuff. Um, and also the actor who plays his aunt is from I believe Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
so yeah, they have some big names there as well. I haven't actually done my research, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I like apparently a lot of these actors are very big in Asian community and
I
stuff
mean,
like that.
Tony Leung, I think that's his name, who plays Wenwu. He's like huge star, um, and I think as well the woman who plays his wife, and I can't remember the character's name, but I think the actress is Michelle something. Also really big. Probably could just do a quick Google and find
Yeah,
out. But yeah, so they brought in some like big Asian names for this, which is cool. You know, pay the money, get in the talent. If you're doing your first big all Asian cast, do it right. Get in the stars, and I think it pays off because there's a lot of really nicely, just well acted moments in that film, and I think I came away from it really enjoying it. I'm not super fussed about watching it again at the moment, like I was with Eternals, but I think the reason for that is, although I really enjoyed Shang-Chi, I'm a little bit sort of, I think I was just feeling a bit oversaturated with like Marvel humor, like that kind of not silly, but like a little bit goofy kind of humor that the MCU has, which is great, love it, but it felt like there were points in that film in Shang-Chi when it could have been just dialed down like a bit, which I don't know, it's kind of my takeaway. But have you done the Google?
I'm currently looking. So Fala Chen, who plays Leko Wu, who I believe was the ant,
Okay.
um, was in uh, Despicable Me 3.
Oh,
However,
lovely. Oh,
um,
gosh, a piece
I
of
think
art.
yeah, Menga Zhang, who plays Zhang, I think it's pronounced. Sorry. Um, oh, we've got the same birthday. Cool.
Ah,
Um,
nice.
I don't know, but like all like we can say is that we know some of these names are from big Asian films, which is great, which is absolutely great. I love that again from my original point of saying how cool it is to see a fully Asian cast. It's great to have like they're famous people and then there's new people as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting stuff. But I do just want to say the music in this film is fucking stunning.
Ooh, yes.
Like it's just gorgeous, and that fight scene with Wenwu and I again let me find the name. With Xialing, I think her name is. Like that is just like it's like I was hypnotized. I couldn't look away from the screen because of how she was moving and stuff, and like how she was like open palm, like controlling the wind. It's like what? Cool. I don't care how it works. It just works, and it's cool. Um,
I'm gonna grab Google. I'm gonna look up some names real quick.
um, but yeah, like this film is awesome, and the acting is funny, and like the seeing Abomination was very cool as well. Like
Yes.
that was very cool, and I love that after the fight, Wong is like actually looking after him and like patching up a bit. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean, it's cool because Abomination's design physically has been updated as well to look a little bit more like comic accurate since his first appearance in 2008, where he was kind of lumpy. I mean, it was 2008, so like fair enough, but it's awesome to see him updated now, and also just have him and Wong pop up for just a scene in a bit. It's like, weaving in some of that kind of comicness about it, where everything's connected and everyone is sort of all these kind of paths weave in with each other. It's cool.
I like the scene with when they go on they see like the other couple and like they're still like little kids pretty much because they're just like talking about games and stuff like that and having fun. And the other person's like, "Oh yeah, I'm all boring your business now," and she's like, "Oh, you don't remember when you like you ate that bush, whatever, like or you like or you, like I don't know you blew up a school bus, like you don't remember that?" And she was like, "Oh yeah." It's like I like the juxtaposition. It's really good.
It is good.
Um uh and like just the acting, even the kids acting is really good as well. Like the
Mm,
some of that like this is cool, and like also the fortress that they lit like her dad lives in.
that's
Well,
beautiful.
yeah, it's gorgeous. Um, anyway, so I'm jumping from different point to different point.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
fun.
so we have the fight scene at I don't know what the place is called again, but it's where his sister is like owning the place. Um,
What, like the fighting ring place?
yeah,
Mm, Yeah, I don't know why I asked you that like I was going to give you the answer. I have absolutely no idea what it's called. Just so we're on the same page, though. Anyway, you go ahead.
Um, yeah, that fight's really cool. Like that fight's awesome. Like I love like when he kind of just like gets hit and like his face is, like pushed against glass and like Awkwafina's like,
Yeah.
um, again the comedy's done just really really well, and plus Simu Liu is a really good looking dude.
He is actually really good
Like
pick for the role for your
yeah,
leading man.
just like really charismatic and stuff.
The woman who
Um,
plays Shai Ling, I think is his sister's name, right? She's very good looking as well. And then Wen
oh
Wu,
sorry,
Tony Leung, also good looking. You have a really good
sorry,
trio there.
yeah I got it wrong. So Mega Zhang, Zhang I think it's pronounced. So who plays yeah his sister? I got it wrong. That's not his mum. Michelle Yeoh, I think, is yes.
Right,
No,
Michelle. I knew it was Michelle something, and her character's Ying something.
her character is sorry. Um, so this is the woman who plays the auntie, not the actual mother.
Right, right.
She was in Crazy Rich Asians.
Mm, that's
She was
recent.
in. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Um, and Tomorrow Never Dies, James Bond film with Pierce Brosnan, I believe.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I think you
and
got most of that right when you were talking about it before.
yeah. She's also in Guardians 2.
Hmm.
I don't know who as.
Maybe
Uh,
just like a sort of minor role.
oh, she plays Starhawk, one of like the other Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Interesting.
uh, which is kind of awkward, but maybe she didn't want that role. Maybe she wanted like an actual, more powerful role.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
Gemma Chan, who plays Cersei, one of the, like, pretty much the main character of Eternals, she was already in Captain Marvel. She
Yeah.
played Minerva, I think the character's name is. So people can get traded around roles if you're not going to be if you're not going to be in a role for very long, then if Marvel like you, then they'll reuse you.
And again, I don't think it matters. I think it just matters about what the characters do rather than who the actors are playing them.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
anyway, so that fight is pretty cool with him and his sister with Zhang. And then when they get raided and like the fight scene on the scaffolding,
Oh my god,
like that is one of the greatest set. I don't care what anyone says. That is one of the greatest fight scenes in the whole MCU.
that's pretty cool.
Like, like just how cleverly like they use all this stuff and like it's like they looked at the bus fight and they were like, we could do better, and then
Yeah.
they did, and it just like it was awesome. It was just so good. Just how clever and like how he just moving around stuff and like oh then that side and then boosh like that. You know, it's like it's
Yeah,
great.
and then like
Um,
round one pole, and then flipping down under one, and then up
yeah,
the next one. So
it
cool.
was. I don't know what fight scene I'm trying to relate it to, but it is like I like how the camera pans out and moves around and stuff like that.
Mm.
It does feel like a video game. Like it's like okay, look over here now. You're playing with this character. Um, oh, I'm trying to think of the film that it's reminding me of.
Another Marvel
Oh,
film, or
no, it reminded me of Aquaman actually.
oh, okay,
Um, when they're fighting in like the villa area.
in Rome?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, with
and
like the
like the
rooftops
camera,
and stuff.
yeah, and the camera like pans out and we go to mirror and like that. I was like, that's really good.
I
Yeah,
watched Aquaman recently, and that was like a thing that really stood out to me. We
yeah,
have like it that was very video gamey as well. How we have these
yeah,
two layers, and we kind of go across to one, and we
yeah.
we follow that along, and then we pull back. Sick, so sick.
Yeah, because we moved from the fight with Aquaman and Black Panther to Mirror being chased by the Atlantean soldiers and stuff. But yeah, that was really well done. Like the direction of this film was insanely good. Um, the conflict is really understandable as well. I really like that the conflict is understandable where her dad didn't let where Wenwu didn't let Zhanling train with like the rest of the people.
Hmm.
But she learned by herself and she became like a fucking badass with this fucking
The
like yeah with this Kill Bill Volume 1 style weapon.
yeah,
Um, um, oh like yeah, it's just done really really well.
I love
Um,
it. When in like one of the last fight scenes, when the two kind of opposing armies are going against each other in Tarlo, and she like fucking swings it round and like jumps off one guy just to swing the top of the thing into the next guy as she's coming down, and then pull it back. It's so cool.
It's a really cool weapon. Like, yeah. And yeah, the conflict is done really well. There's actually a reason for these characters to be like this, and like the sadness when like they see their dad becoming like this husk of a man. Also, the scene when they get both pendants and put it on the dragon, and then it's just like turns like this water. I was like,
It's fucking cool.
yeah, like, and then the CGI happens on the floor. It's like, okay, this is really really cool. Um, and then yeah, and then we jump to Talo, and oh my god, like that set piece is beautiful as well. Like it's a really interesting thing. Also the cameo from Ben Kingsley was very funny as well. Like it was very funny seeing him again.
I like that they brought it back, and I liked
Yeah,
Wenwu's reasoning for keeping him around. Like he just
it
kind
is
of thought
funny.
he was funny, so he's become like the
Yeah,
court jester.
yeah. Um, I love the bit as well when they're in Talo and like it just the camera pans around like everyone's dying and it's like oh god everyone's pretty sad and then like you see him on the floor and Morris is like trying to like wake him up. He's like, "Shh, fuck off! I'm playing dead." It's like I fucking love that.
That
I
is one of the
love
funniest
that.
parts of the film.
Uh, he did that role pretty well. I really liked him.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like and then yeah, so we had the final part of the film. Um, and we learn more about the Ten Rings. Well, we don't actually. They're kept pretty in the dark
Kept,
of like what
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing it is.
yeah. We kind of,
Um,
I mean, we sort of learned that they are something more in the post-credit scene, but we don't know what yet. That was cool. That kind of that little chit
I like
chat they
that.
have.
Yeah, I like that the directors in Marvel are saying we want to actually give a reason why these things exist,
Mm.
rather than oh it's just there. Like they explained Mjolnir, they explained Captain America's shield, they explained Spider-Man's webbing, they explained how the suits were made. They have given like actual reason why these iconic weapons exist.
That's very true.
Um, and I really like that. Um, but yeah, the last fight, like I mean, okay, the army's like fighting is like, it's cool, you know, we saw some cool bits in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, Xialing and Awkwafina, that's the actor's name, not actually the character's
Katie, I
name, but
think, is the
Katie, yeah,
character's name,
sorry.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Um, is so cool. Like I just love that weapon as well. It just looks awesome. Um, but yeah, like when he's fighting his dad and stuff, and like how he's like realizing, okay, I need to use what my mum taught me,
Mm.
and then like he just kicks his ass and stuff like that. Like
It
I
was
love when he's
a
like,
no, sorry. Yeah, you
I
continue.
like yeah, like I just love when like he picks one up. He's like, okay, well my turn. You
Yeah,
know, it's like I was like, oh, this is awesome.
it was a
Um,
real kind of Kung Fu Panda 2, the end of Kung Fu
yeah,
Panda 2,
yeah,
where he finally figures out the technique, and there's that beautiful music playing, and he's out on the piece of driftwood miles away, and then he like takes the does the raindrop thing. It reminded me of that. Not to compare this sort of big live action film
I'm the
to
same.
Kung Fu Panda 2, but to be fair, Kung Fu Panda 2 is an incredibly high quality film with some good messages. So I think it's a good comparison.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like that. The part I liked was that his dad didn't die by the hands of his son.
mm,
That he accepted who he like. He gave him the gauntlets and stuff like that, and I was like, ouch,
yeah,
that's pretty sad.
it is
Um,
rather sad.
I do love the bit though. Like I knew it when he landed in the river and stuff, and like he was falling down and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, the music is like coming to a rise now, and I'm like, dragon, dragon. um, and it comes out, and it's this like the design of the dragon, the Great Protector, is awesome. Like it just looks so reptilian and weird.
Yeah,
Like doesn't it? Like it's got like this kind of like this weird kind of like dragony face. I don't know.
I mean
Um,
we're at the point in the film now where I needed a Wii so badly in the cinema that I could only focus on that feeling, and I remember almost nothing of the end of the film. So
oh
this is kind of
man.
your territory now.
Okay. Well, yeah. So the Great Protector comes out, and like because the seal's been broken on the wall because that's what Wenwu was hearing his wife's voice from,
Hmm.
and all the weird bad demons come out and they're sucking the souls out of people and feeding into the big monster and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that fight scene's pretty cool. Like it's just awesome to get to see Shang-Chi kind of like just using all like the cool things and like I don't know. I just like that set piece. It's really interesting and like the tension is really well done. Like it's just like oh god, and like the souls are being taken away and oh no that
Hmm.
kind of thing. I also like that the two armies join forces and they're like okay cool maybe not maybe it's not worth dying for.
Yeah.
Join up bros. Like let's go fight all these weird demon things.
I love the
Um,
way the demons, like that wall was designed and the way it started to crack apart and they were like clawing their way out. That was really cool.
yeah. Again, the CGI is just top tier. Like it just looks weird. They look like weird little gangly xenomorph things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also so yeah, and then they defeat the big dragon thing and like it explodes its chest, which is awesome. Like I love that he puts them in there and then he's just like yeah, it's just like spinning around and it just goes and I'm like yeah, I love that. It's awesome. And then I love the scene where his sister takes over the place and like makes like this weird kind of army thing where she is
Mm.
now the Ten Rings. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be fucking awesome. Seeing where this is gonna go.
And then it's like the 10 rings will return. Pretty
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
And it's like, what's their motive? Are they good guys or bad guys? We'll find out, And then we have a callback to the original scene where they're having dinner with their friends, having like a drink and stuff, and they're like, oh, and then he used the 10 rings to like do this thing and do this thing, and the couple's like, yeah, these fucking kids again, like, oh, whatever, and then you just see, well, yeah, and like Wong, he's like, oh, you guys come with me. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, and like everyone in the restaurant is just like, like, what the fuck? uh, like yeah, that like it's great. Like and then yeah, and then we have this. They're trying to explain what these things are, and I'm really, really not sure. I'm really interested in what it might be. Um,
I'm wondering like where they're gonna turn up next. Like what film will it be? Shang-Chi 2, or will it kind of come around in some sort of
big
maybe
Avengers
a
film.
big Avengers thing later down the line where it turns out that they're kind of, like a really important thing and there's some nasty alien bitch who wants to come and get them or whatever. And I don't know, it made me just so excited to see them bring in Hulk and Captain Marvel for a moment, just like they brought in Abomination and Wong for that little bit and sent them off again. I mean, for one thing, Banner's out of Hulk form, which is interesting because I had
Yeah.
completely forgotten that I had kind of assumed that he was Professor Hulk forever now,
Yeah.
but he's not actually at the end of Endgame, right? He's back to being Banner, I think. So, right? Because he's got his arm in a sling, right? Is that still from doing the snap? Or not?
Well, his arm was damaged from using the Infinity Gauntlet, yeah, but I don't know if he's back to Banner.
No.
I
Either
think he's still.
way, he's here now. Captain Marvel's here. So those two and Wong are like working together on this project. I assume that's what Wong might be going off to do in No Way Home when he goes off through the portal. He's like, strange, don't cast that spell, and then he goes off through the thing. I guess that might be related to what he's doing in that film, which is cool. And neither of them have any idea what it is. They're just like, it's very, very old, which is cool. It instills you with like a surreal, like, oh, I want to solve the mystery. I want to know what's going on.
Um, yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I wonder how they're going to deliver that exposition as well. I hope
Hmm.
it's not just like kind of like given like a small scene in the big Avengers film, where it's like, oh, actually, they're from, yeah, they're from Wish.com. These things are just like there's like had a really bad manufacturing issue.
You haven't
Um,
used them, have you? You haven't used them. They're from Wish.com, right? You haven't put them on, right?
Could be a fidget spinner, this thing, not a fucking artifact from like ancient Japan.
Shang-Chi looks down at his arms. They're like glowing purple.
and and if you use it as a fidget spinner, like it could end the world. And like, oh dear. Uh, but yeah, they have an interesting direction to go in for this as well. But I'm so happy that I was looking forward to this film.
Mm.
I'm so happy that I watched it. I think I'll watch it again at some point, probably this week. Um, but they've done their research, which like I want to have like a little mini rant here. But they've done their research. They've done their research on the characters, on the music, on the vibe, on the fighting. I will happily go and rewatch that film just for the fight scenes
Hmm.
because again, it's just so clever. It just works so well. It feels like you're watching a fucking video game. It feels like that scene in I don't know if it's the Raid 1 or 2, but it's the bit where like the camera is. It's as if like the character's walking along like that on the side, so it's like a video game, and like everyone's coming out, and it's just like, and it's just like that, and it's just like, yeah, this is sick.
It's dope.
Um, it's a very gory film, but yeah, like yeah. um, but I love that they took the time with it. They did the work. They made the characters make sense. They made the story make sense. They made the music unique and peaceful, like calming, like as if you were
Mm.
kind of practicing doing like all the kind of open palm stuff like
That
that.
is true.
Um, and yeah, I like I just absolutely loved it. I just again like the only reason I'm so excited about it is because I love Asian films. I've grown so much up on I've grown up so much on watching loads of like content that is from Japan or from China. You know, loads of Bruce Lee stuff, like him fighting Chuck Norris. I freaking I've seen Crash Tiger Hidden Dragon like years ago, back in 2000 when it first came out. Um, I've seen loads of these old Kurosawa flicks, which is why me and Arthur is so like well, it's the reason I loved fucking Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
No, Tsushima, sorry. Um, and yeah, I love that. Well, they also explained how to say his name.
Yeah,
Like, because you
true.
look at it, you're like, oh, it's Shang-Chi, and I'm like, no, it's Shang-Chi. It's like, ah, cool, that
Yeah,
makes sense. Um,
that's true actually.
I like that they give that time to explain certain stuff, even though it's not their responsibility to do so. But you know, I like that. I like that they again they gave everything room to breathe, and I think it is. I'm definitely favoritizing over here, but it's definitely one of the really well paced MCU films out there. I like that they keep
Yeah.
going back to flashbacks. I like that. You know,
For
um,
me, I found the pacing was a little bit dodgy in the middle, but I
yeah,
really like how the front end and the back end of the film are paced. So I agree with you there. I think I don't know why for me the middle felt just a little bit slow, but I guess because that's the part where they're actually going to
yeah,
meet Wenwu and they have that whole bit at his house.
yeah. It slows down because I think it's trying to build anticipation and stuff like that. But I think once it gets back into full swing again, it does really,
Yeah,
really
it does
well.
a really good job. Where would
Um,
you place it on like your sort of if you had to do just an estimate on your general MCU ranking, like top 5, top 10, where would this kind of go for you?
Definitely top five.
Yeah,
Definitely top five.
that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
straight away. It's probably like really close, like a 2 or 3 or maybe even a 1. I don't even know. I had to watch them all again so I know where I'm kind of standing with them all. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, for like for someone who's so passionate about all this stuff and passionate about like who I love good action,
Hmm.
if it's done properly, and not if it's just oh Michael Bay explosions and this girl's in like a tank top and she's like oh my god you're such a hero. It's like it's like no I don't want
Transformers.
to see that shit. Um, yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
But no, they like the action in this film. It's like you know when he's like fighting like the weird knight dude from his dad's ranks at the fighting ring place,
Mm, yeah.
and they do the bit where like he's like he drops a knife and he like picks it up like there, like in Winter Soldier, and then they do it like again, and I'm like,
It's
yeah,
so cool.
it's very very cool. Um, but yeah, that's one of my favorite films. Where would you put it in your ranking?
Uh, I think I need to give it time, just time for me to come around to wanting to watch it again, and then I'll watch and I'll see. For now, it was probably at the bottom end of my top 10, and then I watched then I watched Eternals, and that kind of threw everything up in the air for me a bit because I really liked that film. And then I'm kind of considering where everything goes in the general rankings. I would say just below top 10, maybe still at the bottom of top 10, because I enjoyed it. Like I enjoy a lot of MCU films, so it's not like the further down you go, the more I dislike them. I really liked this film. But there are still like a lot of films that just stand out to me more. I don't know. I'll see when I rewatch, but yeah, good film, very good film.
I think we'd see more films like that caliber.
Yeah,
I think they really have captured their style of making films, and it's worked really well. Anyway, I will bring my big Shang-Chi rant to a close so we can actually move on.
yeah. I mean,
Otherwise, we'll be
no,
here all
fair
day.
enough, because that's our last topic, so it's not like we really have anything that we're like itching to get to next.
No, no, but I also am really hungry, so.
Yes, fair enough. All right. So that brings us on to our last kind of segment where we do our outro and we do our one of my favorite segments, which is, well, it's our only segment other than the usual stuff, is something we'd like to say. Where if this is your first time here and you haven't seen this before, it's just we both give something like a piece of advice or a music recommendation, a game recommendation, a film that we think you might like, and we just talk about it for a second to put you guys on, or to just leave you with something to think about, and yeah, we just kind of spend the last kind of portion of the video doing that, and then we do our outro. So if you'd like to lead on, good sir.
Yes, I shall lead on. So recently I've been kind of having, you know, been working quite a lot, and I've been really exhausted and stuff, and I I've booked time off and that kind of thing, and when you have like even just a day off and you get to just relax from whatever it is you do for a living, or if even if you're not doing much, it's still kind of exhausting. All I'm gonna say is just have a day where you just kind of either do something exciting that gives you new energy, or just do something where you can just recharge for a bit. But maybe a little bit cheesy here, and we like me and Oku Drip. We've hung out twice in real life now. Well, yeah, like
Yeah,
literally twice in real life. And both times have been an absolute treasure. Like it's been like just so much fun. Uh, there was not a single time where we weren't smiling or having
no.
fun or
I've been
laughing
in that
or
room now, guys. I've
yeah.
been there. It's
He's been,
real.
he's been in here. He's smelt got in here.
Oh,
Um, Arthur's been in here. Like it's been awesome. We had like snacks. We were playing Smash Bros. It was like we were freaking 11 years old again.
it was cool.
And I was crying to my mum when he had to go home. And so I was what can I say? You know,
Sleepover.
yeah. It's my sleepover, and I'll play the music I want to play, and I just play like some freaking
Oasis.
Mediterranean prog rock, Mediterranean prog rock music, whatever it was called.
Halloween.
Like,
Yeah. Oh,
oh, that's a good callback. That's a good callback.
yeah, we do those.
It's funny because I just guessed that name. I was just like, what four words sounds stupid. Um, no offense to the composer of Hades. I'm just like, huh. Um, but yeah, no, like please just make time for yourself. Like whether it's like trying something new or going somewhere nice you've always wanted to go to that isn't too expensive,
Yeah.
or trying some nice new food. Like there's so much
See a
like
friend.
yeah, see your friends or like have like a day out or just have a day to yourself. Like just like whatever it is that you need to recharge with, whether it's social stuff like um or energy. Please go ahead and do it. We are like Sims. We do need. We have a P level, we have a social level,
Yeah.
and we have a sleep level. So
When
please
that
look
bar's
after
getting
yourself.
low, kick it back up again. Yeah.
That's it. Doesn't take much,
No. Even if it's just going for a walk and listening to your favourite songs.
which we recommend to you because you must like what we like.
You
Otherwise,
must like.
otherwise we're gonna stop doing these. That's a shit.
Uh, yeah, that's good advice. To be fair, that's very good advice actually. My something I'd like to say is also advice. So we both just kind of got stuff to say this week instead of like a game recommendation or something. And my thing is kind of going off that, but a bit more specific. Mine's just do shit that you like. If there's something you want to do, if there's something you're interested in, just do it. There isn't enough time in this life of 80 years or however long we have to not do things you like, because especially in the COVID era, years go by so fast. I, 2020 just happened and went, and it's like, oh, I've done nothing this year apart from go to uni. But then as soon as 2020 ended, I dropped out of uni and came home again. So there you go. If there's something you want to do, just do it, because it creates a memory that you can look back on later, and you had fun doing it. Or maybe you didn't have fun doing it and it sucked, whatever it was, but you can be proud of yourself because you went out there and you did it. And it's good for you. Whether that's to do something around people, go to like a bar that you really want to go to, or whether it's just to maybe you really want to start trying to draw. Look up a tutorial on YouTube and just do a little drawing. It doesn't have to be amazing. It's just, if there's something you want to do, then just take the initiative to go forward and do it, because it will be better to look back on that later than to look back and think, oh, I wish I'd done that. Especially for people like us with like ADHD. A huge thing with ADHD is looking back on the old times and thinking, oh, I wish I was back then, it was so much better then, or oh, I wish I'd done this activity at this point in time. I'm so heartbroken looking back that I didn't do that thing. So save some of the pain and misery for yourself. If you have ADHD like us, do things you like. That's kind of my brings it to a close.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. I think that um yeah, doing stuff you like or doing stuff that you need is like on kind of like a similar plane of priority.
Mm.
And yeah, embrace shit, even if it's sad. You have to cry, you have to laugh, you have to wipe after a shit. You have to,
Born to
like
shit, forced to wipe.
that's it. Yeah. Um, uh, and yeah, you have to make time for yourself as well, because like work can be so busy and stressful, and it has been for me. And at the end of the day, you have to make time. You have to put your foot down and say, okay, no, this isn't right. I need a bit of time for me. And that goes not just for your workplace, for yourself as well, for
Mm.
relationships, for whatever. Um, if if it doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. And if it does feel right for you, then go for it.
Yeah,
Um,
and even if you're in a tight situation where there are certain things you have to do, there'll always be 10 minutes where you can just take out, even if it's right before you go to bed, go on YouTube, get like a meditation thing up, and just let it kind of play in your headphones while you're going to sleep. You can always make even the tiniest sliver of time just to do that extra little bit of self-care. That sounds like an order, but no, actually, that is an order. Do that.
well, as well as that, like if you're trying new stuff, um, don't ever beat yourself up if you don't get it right the first time,
Mm,
because
that's a really good
we
one.
aren't perfect. We will never be perfect. We might get things right here and there, might feel amazing about it, and then do a thing right after that and not get it right, and it'll be like, wait, how come that isn't gone right? I've just done a thing really well. That's
Hmm.
not how we work. That's not how we work, and beating yourself up in any kind of format is not going to help.
That's very true.
What is going to help is just saying, okay, didn't work, cool. Let's see if that's an issue I can fix. If I can, cool. If I can't, shit.
Yeah,
So
that's something even I could learn from. Is like, because I always find that I beat myself up if something doesn't go right with something I've been trying to get over since I was like 5, and something didn't go my way. And my mum and dad originally taught me way back then, if something doesn't go your way the first time, that's okay. But not to make everything about this, but just uh, coincidence. That's another thing that people who are neurodivergent can really struggle with, is like the perfectionism and everything having to go exactly how you imagined it in your head. So if you are neurodivergent, that's not really something that can be avoided, but it is just good to remind yourself, hey, I can do things poorly and then try again another time. That's fine.
there are better ways of dealing with those emotions too.
True.
There are a billion better ways of dealing with those emotions, and I think our advice could help out a bit with that as well, because you just might need to chill out a bit, or you might need to,
Yeah.
see some new environment, that kind of thing. But end of the day, yeah, never beat yourself up.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good advice, if I do say so myself, from both of us, I think.
Mm.
Um,
Solid.
Solid indeed. So that kind of wraps us up, I think. If you enjoyed this, then please do all of the things. Tell us you enjoyed it, or leave a like, or something. Tell a friend. If you have anything like that you think we would be interested in, kind of like the inverse of this, something we'd like to say section. If you have like a film you think we'd enjoy, or there's an album you think we might like, or just something you think we'd be interested in, like tell us in the comments. Or you can find either one of us on Instagram or something. Our tags are here. I'm trying to get my finger in the right place. So find one of us, sling us a message, say, "Hey, I'm here from the podcast. Here's something I think you'd enjoy." That's cool. Like, we'll take that. Um,
Anyway, as for the podcasts, I believe the next one, and this is some kind of mind planning in my head of, it's probably going to be around the time that Spider-Man No Way Home comes out, which is very soon.
mhm.
Um, and I think by that time I'll have seen Eternals, so we could do like another jumbo podcast.
Yeah, Eternals talk, No Way Home talk. Anything else that's kind of going on that we might want to discuss? Just kind of, well, I guess we'll figure it out as we go. So that'll be like what, like next month, maybe in a month's time, kind of territory. So yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. This
Thank
has
you very
been
much. Yeah.
No Clipping Through the Net episode. I was going to say 4, but episode 3, isn't it? Oku and Shocho. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up, or are we good to dip out?
Good. Let's
All
go.
right, have a good day, everyone, and we'll see you later. All right.
Bye.